that didn't work so well.
And I didn't know that was happening. I did not know that it was happening.
Yeah, no, I tried to build a little intro, but it was a fail. What's shaking, man?
What's going on?
What's going on?
We got John Amenta with us, Johnny Ganache from Pint of Comics.
Hello.
Welcome. You bringing some of your audience with you?
I don't know. You know, I decided last minute because I had today off to jump on and I saw your email. So I didn't even think to promote. And I feel like a terrible person now.
Well, that's all right. We'll let it slide.
There'll be many more. There'll be many more.
Yeah, there will be many more. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah,
Ooh,
thanks for
spinner rack.
Yeah,
wow.
This is my comic room.
I love it.
You'll particularly like up there. You see those 3 plates mounted?
I do.
Those are my grandfather used to just buy everything, even if he wasn't interested in it. He had a lot of money and he would always buy things. And my uncle, his son, was a huge Star Trek fan, and he has all of the what were they called? What were those plates called? Franklin Mint.
Yeah,
Yes.
Franklin Mint. Yeah,
those are 3 of the Franklin Mint. One of them is Kirk from the original series. One of them is the Enterprise Reliant Battle, and the other one is the Wrath of Khan poster. And I ended up with all of them after he passed. And those are the 3 that I mounted.
Those are awesome, man.
Yeah.
I used to love those things, but back when they came out, I was a teenager and they were out of my price range. So
yeah, nothing I would have ever bought, but getting them for sure.
If they were out now, as adults, we could have.
As adult, yeah.
Yeah, but back then.
So also, you have your little collection forming of your little USS Enterprises.
Who, me?
Yeah, your collection there.
Yeah, well, it stopped dead until the coof is gone. I can't be paying for a subscription for spaceships.
What's it called? What's the service?
Eagle Moss.
Right.
Eagle Moss. They do a fantastic job. I love them, but luckily I got the dozen or so I really wanted. So
they don't tell you what you're going to get.
No, they sort of do. They tell you get a magazine with the ship, and then in the back of the magazine it says coming next, so you know what you're going to get. But what I did is I went on their website and I started going through like the order that they put them out in, and I realized, okay, I know what's coming next, and I was only wrong on one, so I did pretty good.
Every year at New York Comic Con for the last like 5 years, we would make it a point to hit the Eagle Moss booth, and every year I would buy a ship, and that was kind of like one of my little, this has to happen before I leave. Right. So I've purchased several, and I haven't even talked about it yet because it hasn't started yet, but at Toy Fair this year, I met a gentleman who is a representative of Eagle Moss, and they're starting a new series of MCU figurines. And he sent out an email recently, like promoting it, and I responded, and we're going to start getting through the mail the figures to do videos with.
Oh, no way. Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. I want to go to that toy fair with you guys.
Oh, dude, it was the last thing we did before COVID. It was literally February 20th. So while we were there, we were actually like, what if this thing is real? What if this whole virus thing is real? Like, we have to be very careful. And within 3 weeks, we were shot into the world we live in. But it was fantastic. It was in the same, the Javits Center, the same amount of space that they used for New York Comic Con. But I would just say figure a fifth of the people.
Yeah, so it's breathable.
Breathable. Very breathable. Awesome.
So we got the brothers Bryden back here. We got Judah Buddha and Jason. Welcome. How hot is it out there in San Diego today there, Jason?
Oh, it's not that bad. Actually, the heat wave has dissipated a little bit. I think it's down to about the 80s now. And so no more 113 temps. That was brutal.
Yeah, well, they got 40 wildfires going right now.
Yeah. Nowhere near.
Northern California.
Northern California. There's some in LA. We had one here in San Diego, but it's been extinguished.
Nice. You guys,
what was the baby?
Okay. What's that?
What was the baby, boy or girl? the wildfires because it started because of a gender reveal party.
I told my brother about that. He had no clue what I was talking about when I was trying to explain it to him.
I had no clue.
Yeah,
I had no clue.
The woman who invented the gender reveal party has begged people to stop. She's like, it was a bad idea. Please stop.
Yeah,
this is killing people.
Pyro and everything. That started the biggest one, right? That's the biggest fire.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was like a powder keg kind of thing. It just exploded and all this powder came out.
Yeah, right outside of Silicon Valley. So it's crazy. So a lot of stuff to get to.
Yeah.
I was going to start off with this one. Let me just share my screen. Yeah, today's my first day. So, boom. So, you guys see this?
I did not see that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wait a little while. I was actually looking forward to this. It's gonna be like 2 weeks from now, and
Now, Keith,
it back.
you have been going to the movies. I have not stepped foot into a movie house yet.
Yeah.
How did you feel?
I feel fine. It's fine. Here's the thing with it. I think that they're not pushing this back so much because of health reasons. They're pushing it back because nobody's going to the movie theater. The first night I went to the New Mutants was the night it came out. I went with Pete. There were 6 people in the theater, and Bill and Ted 6 people. Tenet had about 40. 45 maybe, but that's in an IMAX cinema, and it was a sneak preview. It was a week before it came out. So nobody's going. Like, this is the time to go if you want to go, because there's nobody.
Do you think that was related to, well, I know that COVID is the underlying cause, but so the movies you said, though, like New Mutants after all this time might have had 20 people in a normal time anyway, and Bill and Ted, they put out on video on demand the same day. So you got to wonder if they didn't put Bill and Ted out, I bet you would have had more people. And Tenet did as well as it did in terms of, the 40 people, because he didn't budge and change his mind on that. And there was no video on demand. I just wonder, I guess at some point people are going to start feeling comfortable enough again to go, and some of these big releases, at this point, it makes sense to put Wonder Woman 84 out at Christmas and not in October. October's a wasteland for movies. Christmas is a push time,
I agree. And I just think people are going to come back slowly. It's pretty cool how it worked, because you buy the tickets on your phone or online, and the minute you pick a seat, it blocks off one on each side of you immediately. And it's so clever. Actually, we were going to go to Tenet, my friend Doug and I, and we were trying to buy the tickets. We were together trying to buy them, but separately, because we wanted to pay separately, and we couldn't figure out why. Every time we went to check out, like I picked seat 25, he took 26, and it kept saying error. And then I realized, I'm like, wait a minute, we're not buying it on the same purchase. It's not gonna pick 27. As soon as you pick 27, bang, went right through. So you get those seats are like 4 feet wide anyway.
Right.
So, and then, it's the kind of thing. There was a guy 2 seats down from me at Tenet. It was actually funny watching him.
Now, you weren't required to wear your mask the whole time in the theater, right?
Each theater has its own set of rules. So the first night I went to Picture Show Berlin, here in Berlin, and they do restaurant rules. If you're up and about, put it on. If you sit down to watch the movie, you can take it off.
Right, because you're eating popcorn, drinking soda.
Well, even if you're not, you can take it off. AMC is the one where if you're eating, take it off. If you're not, leave it on. And Wallingford had the same policy. So, I didn't know how they were going to police it. So I ate my popcorn 1 kernel at a time and made it last the whole, because Tenet's 2 hours and 40 minutes. I'm like, I'm not going to try to watch a movie fogging up my glasses. So I was eating that popcorn really slow. So yeah, it was, it felt great to be in there, again.
The atmosphere.
And every time I went too, it was prime time. It wasn't like I went at 1 PM or 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. Each time it was like the 7 o'clock show. So one was a Friday, one was a Monday, the other one was a Tuesday, $5 Tuesday, and there's still nobody in there. So, but you might be right, John, about Bill and Ted, because people already downloaded it and watched it at home.
Yeah. That's what I did. Yep.
It's a perfect rental movie. It really is.
And it was fun. I enjoyed it. I actually laughed a lot.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was a throwback to a type of movie we don't get a lot anymore. It was just a fun, good-natured, comedy, and it was really a good send-off for those characters. Don't do it again. Leave them alone. We don't need Bill and Ted 4. Just let this be, and you did a good job.
Right. Yeah. And what I really liked is they were able to. Well, Keanu Reeves not as much, but Alex Winter. He was right back in character as if no time had passed at all, which you don't get like with this Dumb and Dumber sequel that came 20 years later was horrible. Even say that about Clerks 2, just doesn't work. But somehow they pulled it off. It was good. It felt just like the other two movies.
Yeah. Well, I think also the movie knows what it is. It knows that it's going to be corny, and it's not like some of these other movies. They try too hard.
Yeah, it definitely knew exactly what it was. So, I was happy with it.
And I love the kids in it. I love the kids supporting their parents. They weren't trying to be know-it-all kids. It was like, come on, let's do this for dads.
I'm glad they weren't the focal point of the story. They were they were part of the B story, and they kind of went on another Bill and Ted, like Bill and Ted's original adventure. They went backward in time and gathered historical figures and brought them forward in times. Yeah, and those two girls actually, I thought they did a pretty good job with the mannerisms and whatnot.
No, it was definitely good. I enjoyed it. I wish I saw it with you guys, but I couldn't figure out how to get a movie night together.
Well, I wanted to see it in the movie theater.
I don't think I'm there yet. I'll slowly get there, but I don't think I'm exactly there yet. But
yeah, it's. I have to get out of here sometimes. I just can't.
No, I get it.
I go to the gym all the time too, so I'm used to going out, and I see John at the comic shop a lot. We're out there.
I get out. I'm out every day anyway, so
right.
But like I agree with Jude. I'm not at movie theater level yet. Partially, I wonder because part of it is, as you know, my wife is immunodeficient, so I have to be very careful for her as much as I can. But I also wonder if she wasn't in the picture or that wasn't the case, would I be like kind of jumping out there? Like next month, I'm going to Larry Dwyer is doing a drive-in event in Ansonia.
Let me get that. Let me call that website up.
Yeah. And I'm going to it. My wife's not coming. I'm going. I'm going to wear a mask. I'm going to be by myself at the drive-in. Obviously, there will probably be a little bit of time where be out of the car, socializing to an extent safely. But like, it's a month away, and it's on my mind slightly. Like, this shouldn't be life. Where I'm thinking about, I'm going to a movie in a month, and Jesus Christ, is this the right thing to do? Is this the wrong thing to do? Am I being safe? Like, this whole thing is very trying. I handled it really well for the first 4 or 5 years that it was happening, and in the last year, it's this whole COVID thing is what it feels like. It's starting to get to me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's getting to everybody, really.
Yeah,
well, you just nailed it. It's the ridiculous. It's 6 months now. Well, none of us expected it to go this long. I don't think.
Yeah,
at this.
I also think it's state by state, though. I mean, Connecticut's numbers are the lowest in the country, so everybody feels a little bit more safer here. I don't know how they are in California, but
it's horrible. I can't even go see my daughter. She's been on house arrest for 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, California is a big state, so different pockets are worse than other pockets.
Yeah,
we're
I
about
checked.
mid-grade.
You guys are in the red zone still, I think, Jason.
Yeah,
they have 4 color zones. LA's in purple, which is the worst. Then there's red, and then orange and yellow, I believe. Or is it yellow and green? I don't remember, but either way, until they drop at least to red, nothing's going to even partially be open. So, anyway, John, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, so there's 2 events that are coming up. They're both sold out. So, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to go if you haven't gotten your tickets yet. But Larry Dwyer, who's on our show all the time, he runs a site called Connecticut Cult Classics, which is what Keith has brought up here. And they're doing 2 different events. October 10th, which is my wife Lindsay's birthday, part of the reason I'm not going, because I want to stay here with her and hang out in the house together on her birthday. They're doing there's a couple of local filmmakers, the Bloomquist brothers, Eric and Carson, who a few years ago did a short video that Larry had shown at his one of his shows. It was fantastic. And then they did a movie last year that came out called Long Lost, and it starred a Middletown, Connecticut native, and he was also in a horror movie called You're Next, which is kind of popular. People know that one a little bit better. His name is Nicholas Tucci. He passed away from cancer earlier this year. So he made this film, which I believe is called 10 Minutes to Midnight. And this is their newest movie. It stars Caroline Williams, who was the protagonist of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. She was the radio DJ, if you've ever seen that movie. And she plays a radio DJ, and it's a horror movie set in a radio station. She's going to be there to meet and greet and sign, do all that stuff. And then a week later, Larry is showing the 1987 horror classic. I guess it's horror, The Gate. And that is just a straight up showing. He's just doing that as there's nobody going to be there, nothing like that. But he's doing both of those.
I remember this.
I love The Gate, dude.
I've never seen it, and that's the one I'm going to.
Seen it?
Yeah, so I'm actually excited. It's my first viewing of this one. So, but yeah, if you ever have a few minutes, go to Cult Classics, ConnecticutCultClassics.com. Check out Larry's site, and I strongly urge you three guys. I know Jason's all the way out in California, but if you ever get out to Connecticut again, when COVID is over, Larry does every other month these fantastic double features in Seymour, Connecticut at the Strand Theater. It's an old school one screen theater built in I think the 40s. And he does various double features. He's done, there was a Sleepaway Camp Friday the 13th. He's done a couple John Carpenter nights. One of them was Big Trouble in Little China and The Thing. He did The Exorcist and The Exorcist 3, Friday the 13th Part 2 and 3. He does all these kind of Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness. He's done awesome shows. He does them, almost at a loss. This guy is a true bastion of the horror community. He's a great dude. He's been on our show a million times. And if you ever get the chance, it's 2 movies for $10. You cannot go wrong. It is an awesome time. He has supported us beyond belief. So I want to throw it out there. And if you go to the top of his site there, I think there's a Scary Larry's voting page. Keith, Can you bring that up?
Yep. There we go.
We do these shows with Larry called Scary Larry's Pint of Horrors, where he has a master list of 20 movies. We roll dice, 4 of us roll die, and we pick 4 of the movies based on the dice roll, and then we put the movies up to a vote, and then our listeners and anybody goes on Twitter, Facebook, onto this website and votes. So our next episode that we'll be doing will be between The Cabin in the Woods, Poltergeist, Burnt Offerings, and Bad Taste. And as a sneak preview, I think this vote is almost over. It's almost definitely going to be Poltergeist. It's smoking everything else.
I just voted for it again.
Yeah. So Poltergeist will probably be the 10th episode. But if you look here, we've done Day of the Dead. We did Maniac, Prom Night, Motel Hell, Dead Alive, The Wicker Man, The Funhouse, and the 2 that haven't come out yet. We did a Spanish movie called Wreck, which was remade as Quarantine in America. And we just did 1985's The Stuff. So it's just fun. Larry is a great guy and really good to do.
Nice.
Yeah, I was just about to buy a ticket to the March event. Was it March or April?
March. Yeah, it was going to be David Cronenberg night.
Yes, that's the one. Yep.
Yeah.
And the So
yeah.
Bummer.
I'm excited. I'm excited. I want to definitely go to one. So
yeah, Jude, you got to come out next time.
You're
This is all over and we all feel safe.
Fan.
Come out.
Yeah,
nice. Definitely. I just got done seeing that movie. It was all on Zoom I think it's called Host.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
it was actually pretty good.
I thought that was really good.
And what's funny about it is, like, I don't know, 3 months ago on the podcast, I was saying they're going to do some horror movie is going to be called Zoom. And sure enough, it came on Shudder. So, and I watched it the other night, and I expected to go into it just completely like, this is going to be a joke. And it was actually done very well.
Yep.
It was sort of done like a paranormal. What are they? Paranormal. What is the one with the camcorders?
Oh, I've never seen those. Activity.
Yeah, it's similar to that. But it was done well. It's definitely worth a watch, and it's only like an hour long. So it's like, boom, you're done.
Yeah.
So I might do a movie review. I know Keith's been doing them on our YouTube channel. So
no matter your size, shape, or sleeping.
Sorry, guys.
Whoa.
Stupid ads.
Does the whole movie take place over Zoom?
It takes place over Zoom. They actually do a seance through. There's 4 or 5 girls who do there's 4 girls, and then they have someone come in who actually is the leader of doing the seance, and then all this weird shit starts happening. But it's all through the perspective of the camera on the laptop or on their PC. And all this shit starts to happen. So they're like looking over, a door will slam, and they'll look over the shoulder.
Totally worth watching. And it, like he said, it's as short as a feature could be. It's like an hour and 10 minutes long.
Just enough.
70 minutes qualifies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
No,
I go ahead. No, I'm done.
I'm just going to shift gears. So if you want to finish up.
No.
You sure?
I might do the review. So that I'll sum that all up in the review.
I've been waiting for it. I keep looking to see if you did it.
I know. I got stuck with work this week. So
lucky you. So while we're on movies, I don't know if anybody's a fan of Dune, but did anybody see
the trailer?
Anybody see it?
I saw the trailer.
I saw it.
The trailer looks great.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's a fan of Dune?
It came out around the time where I just couldn't understand the movie. We did see it. I think, did Dad take us to the movie, Jay?
Yes.
Right. And I think
we were too young to really appreciate
it. Right. We both left the movie like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
And my dad was like, that's so good. That was so good. And we're like, okay. But as
I was I was 10 years old. I mean, I didn't understand it.
And I was 7, 8.
Yeah.
So, I watched it again later, and I don't think it holds up as well now. So this remake looks like it's definitely going to do the first film justice. But
what about you, John?
I'm assuming I'm about probably Jude's age, or maybe Jason's. I saw it in the theaters when I was a kid. We used to go. We lived above. On a street above a movie theater, so me and my friends would go every weekend and see the movies, no matter what it was, 3 or 4 times. I saw Dune 3 or 4 times. I never understood that fucking thing. Pardon my French, I never got it. Yeah, it's supposed to be Star Wars at that time. You're thinking, oh, Star Wars, and then it's just the weirdest goddamn thing ever. And I was surprised from seeing this new trailer how much it looks like the first original movie. Like the scene where they're sparring with the force fields, it looks very similar. So much of it looks like the part where he has to put his hand in the box. And in the trailer, I thought it was a really weird decision for them, especially since the saying is now such a kind of joke saying, is when he says, "What's in the box?" Because I immediately just went to 7. What's in the box? Oh no. What's in the box?
It's funny you bring the look of it, John, because Denis Villeneuve, who did Blade Runner 2049, matched that aesthetic as well. So
that's why I'm excited, because I love the way that movie looked.
Yeah. I don't know. I was never like you guys. I saw it in '84, and even though I like my sci-fi slow, as John knows, slow and intellectual, it was too slow and too intellectual for me.
Well, it's David Lynch. I mean, come on.
But what came out at the same time was 2010 with Roy Scheider, and I was a big fan of 2001. And they came out at the same time, and I like 2010 so much better, and I kind of just wrote Dune off. And I never read the book, so
I haven't seen it in years.
From what I understand, David Lynch didn't even like the final edit, because I think he was fighting with the studios. And he wanted to do something completely different. So can you imagine if he actually got to release his edit at that time? It probably would have been even slower and crazier.
Hashtag release the Lynch edit.
Yeah. There actually is a longer version that was shown on TV through the 80s and 90s that has more in it, and that cut is actually credited as a Alan Smithy film because Lynch hated that even more.
Really?
Like, yeah.
He took his name off of it. Well, sort of. Yeah.
Wow, Alan
But did
Smith.
it have a
You go, Alan
did it have
Smith.
an extended Sting concert in it? For a music performance for Sting.
I love Sting in it. I thought
The
Sting was
single
great.
greatest moment in that whole movie is when Sting says, "I shall kill him."
Thing, a very young Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Patrick Stewart was in it. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Million people. Brad Dourif is in it.
right.
Who's the guy from
Book my appointments tomorrow.
Why does this?
Quantum Leap? Who's the guy from Quantum Leap? Dean
Scott
Stockwell.
Bakula?
No,
Dean
Dean Stockwell is
Yeah.
Dr. Huey, and the other guy. Who the hell was the other one? I can't. The guy who played Leto Atreides. He's Jurgen Prochnow.
Sorry, I'm clearing tabs. I got too many tabs open.
What is going on, Keith?
I got tabs
So
open.
many
And
good actors in that.
they got all these things that autoplay. It drives me nuts.
Well, I think most of the cast was all English too, wasn't it? Like more than
Kyle MacLachlan is not English.
They
So,
shot that in
it
Pinewood.
was a mix. It was a mix.
Was it?
So Keith, are you going to brave the movie theaters to see Dune?
To see Dune? Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
When does it come? When does it do? When's it come
I'm
out?
kind of because I don't know. Let me look that up.
It's next year.
Yeah, I was going to
Next
say
year?
April or May, right?
Yeah.
March maybe. I was kind of bummed that the 3 movies that I really wanted to see in the theater were all out at the same time because now I have to wait who knows how long to go see something again because nothing else is appealing or good. And you know what's a bummer? At the same time, they had like Jurassic Park and Back to the Future and some of the Marvel movies that were also playing for like $2. And the minute like there's too many, now they have a bunch of first release movies out and all those classics are gone already, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah. I've waited my whole life to have a theater experience in Connecticut, which, other states have lots of, where it's a theater that just shows older movies. And that's one of the things I love about Larry's Things, but that's once every 2 months. We finally get it, and it's only because nothing new is coming out and everybody's afraid to go to the movie theater. So it's
Right.
like I was looking one day like 2 months ago at the AMC Bowtie Cinemas, and it was every day of the week was a different movie that I would just love to go see. And I'm like, well, I'm not. I'm not going to go see this, but
Right. Yeah, now you got to make sure you want to see it if you're going to go, right?
yeah. The only movie this year remaining that is like hard for me. Tenet, I really wanted to see, but the more I heard about it, the more I said to myself, this could wait. The only one that's really like looking me in the eyes and pissing me off is Bond, because I really want to see Bond.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And something tells me it's going to get pushed again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what, November 20th right now?
Yeah, late November.
It could still happen, but I don't know. But Dune is coming out this year, actually, December 18th.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yep. There it is.
Christmas release.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen is with the Wonder Woman and then Dune. I think they're just going to push everything around the holiday season. I think people are going to actually leave their homes and want to buy stuff. I don't think they're going to want to sit home anymore and order from Amazon. I could be wrong, but that's just my take on it.
Well, yesterday, did you see the news yesterday? I think it was Home Depot canceled Black Friday. You're going to see
really?
more and more of that. Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
that should happen anyway. People get trampled to death at Black
Yeah.
Friday.
Agreed. It's stupid. Or if you're going to do Black Friday, keep it on Friday. The whole thing we've been doing the last couple of years where it's creeping into Thanksgiving
Yeah.
is just bullshit. It's so stupid.
Yeah. And it's crazy. I mean, you can get the same deals on their website.
Mhm.
You don't have to go stand in line for 4 hours or get up at 2 a.m. and go stand outside and then get smothered and trampled on. Just go on the website.
Well, I think for some people, after you eat Thanksgiving dinner, people just want to head out and do something.
All right,
you know?
confession. The last 2 Thanksgivings, I did exactly that. But
you had all that turkey and all that food, and you're like, "Fuck this! I'm not sitting."
on the way
couch."
home from my brother always hosts Thanksgiving on the way home. Well, there's a Best Buy on the way home. I might as well.
My dad lives next to the 24-hour Walmart, that huge Walmart in Wallingford. He lives right next to it. And what do you think I do when I leave his house for Thanksgiving? Fucking in there, and it's a 24-hour, so I can, as late as it gets, I'm in there.
But for me, everybody goes for the electronics and stuff. I just want Blu-rays.
Yes, I do the same thing. I do it the day after. So my yearly thing for the last 6 years is I work, Black Friday, which at my job isn't a big deal. I get out at 5 o'clock. I pick my wife up. We go to the 24-hour Walmart that Jude was just talking about, and I pick through what's left, and I walk out of there with 8 movies for $60 that would normally cost me $260.
Right.
And I always this last year was the worst year, and I still walked out 4 things that I bought like Spider-Man Far From Home. I didn't even really love it. It was $5. So I'm like, if I ever want to watch it again, I have to. It's my civic duty as an American to have to buy this shitty Marvel movie, and I did.
I'm with you. I'm a completionist, and I hated that movie, but I got the same thing. I bought it that day. I bought Dark Phoenix for $2.99 on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So I would never pay more than $3 for that hunk of crap. But I have to have it because I have to have them all on the shelf.
Yeah, I got the same problem. Physical media forever.
You're dumb. Being a dork. Yes.
Speaking of physical things, my brother here has been selling off some of his comic book collection.
Yeah, that's what I
have.
want.
Yeah, I
How's
have.
that going?
I mean, well, I always judge it by, am I ever going to read this again? And if the answer is no, I sell it. It's one of those things where I might, if I have an attachment to it, I probably won't sell it. But there's a lot of comic books that you read once, you go, that was good, but you'll never pick up again. We all have those comics.
Here, let me show you mine. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to turn this around.
He's got a wall.
Wait, let's put Johnny full screen.
And let's put me full screen there if you can.
How do we do that?
There's a bunch of them, and
How do we put John full screen?
I think you have to click the tab at the bottom.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Click the tab at the bottom. Yeah, I'm doing that. Wait a minute. How do I get him?
everyone loves Jude.
I know.
How are you doing that, Jude?
I'm not doing anything.
You were. I don't know how to make him full screen.
Jazz hands.
I don't know how to do it.
Yeah. Well, so at the very least, you can see, and that was some. And here's more.
There we go.
There we go. So let's show you.
That's an awesome room.
That's a stack there of stuff I'm going through,
Yeah.
and then this is the wall. I am not going to be reading all of that again. I have been going through this room for the last year and a half, 2 years, and just making little bundles.
Wow.
And I donated a bunch to children's hospitals.
Yeah.
I've sold some. I sold my entire. I had a whole long run of X-Men garbage that I the other day I sold to a guy. I found this issue that I didn't give him. So.
Oh, I think I barcoded that one recently.
So I think I kept it because it's Jason Aaron, I think, or Kieran Gillen. But yeah, I gotta do the same thing. I'm drowning in this stuff. There's a ton I love, and a lot of these boxes I've just shown you has a lot of stuff that I never want to get rid of. But yeah, it's
Space.
too much.
Yeah.
Space. Yeah.
You saw the picture of what happened to me when my shelf collapsed.
Fell over.
The boxes got to be too much, and they fell over. The whole shelf broke with PVC. It snapped, and the boxes of comics spilled everywhere. It was awful.
Well, what Jason?
Only one comic got damaged, though. Only one.
That's good though.
But it was your Walking Dead #1.
No, actually, it was just the most recent Batman issue, 95 or something like that, 96. Got a little crumpled, so I just went and bought another one at BoomTube.
But what you've been doing, Jason, you've been buying the omnibuses. So you sell a stack and then you buy the collection.
I do. I've been investing in omnis because once omnis go out of print, they go astronomical on eBay.
Super.
I mean, they go for massive prices. I mean, you could turn around an omnibus for $200 more than what you paid for it. So that's what I've been doing is collecting omnis. Yeah.
I've been buying all of the Conan Marvel stuff in Omnibus and all of the Savage Sword. And I've got that. I buy them through a site called In Stock Trades, where you're going to get them cheaper than anywhere. Right.
Yeah.
And I have them in my Amazon wish list, so I know when they come out, because the reason is I'm afraid if I miss one somehow, I'm never going to be able to afford it, because it's what Jason said. Right. When an omnibus goes out of print, it is done. A couple years ago, they did the Thor Walt Simonson run, complete run, and it went out of print. And me and Lou from Pint of Comics were up at Albany at a comic show, and we saw one. I think it was $125 book price. A guy there was selling it for like $90, still sealed. He wanted to get rid of it. Wow. I hemmed and hawed and didn't buy it. And like a year later, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna $350, $400 on Amazon. They finally actually did reprint, and I managed to get it through In Stock. But honestly, if you're not gonna buy them right off the bat, you're shooting yourself in the foot. If you want it, if you want an omnibus, Jason's totally right. Buy it right away.
So
they are great investments.
Are
They're really good investments.
Do scalpers drive up the market though? Do these people just buy like a shit ton of them and then try to turn them over?
I don't think they large volume. They do small print runs, right?
Yeah.
They're small print runs. Yeah, and John's right. What happens is times they'll reprint them, so you'll feel like an idiot buying like a $300 omnibus because it comes back into print, but you just don't know whether these publishing companies are going to reprint them.
Yeah.
So you kind of try to buy and sell them when they're hot, when they're called whales, when they're rare.
This is a whole underground.
I made a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm learning something.
Oh yeah,
this is crazy.
Well, I made a lot of money selling omnibuses.
I've got it here. Let me just show you real quick. I'll turn around.
I've seen them on sale at conventions, and the prices are like nuts.
Actually, this way. Sorry. So those shelves there on the bottom are all omnibuses, and yeah, it's an expensive hobby.
Yes, brother, you have a bookcase full of them. I know you do.
I have about 150 omnibuses. Yeah.
Oh Jesus!
Oh,
I've got maybe 15. I've got maybe 15 or 20.
I think I have one.
He took a picture once and he showed it to me. I was like, "What the hell you been doing?"
What is your bookcase made out of? Like titanium?
Titanium, adamantium.
Do you have it right there? Do you have the bookcase right there?
Floppies took down a PVC shelf. I can't imagine what those weigh.
Well, let's see if I can show it. There they are, right there.
You
You see them?
Jesus.
Two bookcases.
Wow.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Yeah. I hope you tip when you move. I hope you tip them well for carrying that shit.
Yeah. Oh, Sandman. I see Sandman.
Sandman.
Yeah.
A lot of
and there's more.
Daredevil.
Yeah. Daredevil. Frank Miller's Daredevil. There's Spider-Man's, all the X-Men Omnis. Pretty much everything.
They look gorgeous on a shelf.
Yeah.
They really
there's a YouTube channel where it's a guy, and it's funny because it's a little frustrating as like a longtime fan. It's a guy who's kind of fairly new into the hobby of reading comics, but he got into it full bore. It's called Gem Mint. Have you ever seen this?
Yeah, that guy's insane.
That dude, I don't know at this point, because he's popular enough, he might have a deal with Marvel. So like what Jason just showed, he's got like 8 of those. Of all omnibuses. He doesn't collect floppies. He doesn't do anything, with the, like this type of stuff. Right. Everything he does is omnibus, and he has everything. And he does omnibus reviews, and it's insane. I'm assuming at this point he must be getting stuff for free.
Yeah, he buys every single omni. He is the consummate collector. Every single omnibus, whether he likes it or not, he'll buy it.
Yeah. He's done reviews where he's like, I bought this just because I have the first 2. He'll say like, I read the first 5 issues and the first one, didn't like it. I'm not going to read this, but they're doing 5 of these omnis and I'm going to buy all 5 of them. It's like, holy shit.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I look at it as an investment when I'm, an old age, like 65, 70 years old. I can sell this for like, thousands and thousands of dollars and, sit on it. So it's an investment. It's better than it's more an investment than floppies these days.
Don't you say that to me. Don't you dare say that to me.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna hold on. Let me just pull out. Let's pull out anything random. Look, I got to be able to sell this copy of Terminator Sector War for at least beautifully bagged and boarded. This thing is going to get me at least probably a quarter in a bin when I'm like an old man selling out of my boxes at a VFW somewhere. Jason, don't you say that.
You'll be on the market.
Yeah.
Funny books, quarter a piece. Yeah,
my copy of Apache Skies from Marvel Max 2003. That's going to get me something. Sorry.
I think you should reread that and do a review, John.
If I can find the other 5 issues, which will never happen.
I've been going through my whole collection, and I got this barcode, this app on the tablet, and you can just zap the barcode, and it has a database, and so I'm databasing the whole collection, and I'm almost to 5,000. I'm about 2 years of the way done. It's
my box, I have like 2 boxes, and that's it.
Yep. And sometimes the wrong cover comes up, so then you got to hit the edit button, and
right,
it goes online, and you have to find the right cover, replace it, save it.
I am very much at the point in my life. I'm 44. I've collected solidly for 20 years, and before that, like throughout a lot of my life, on and off. Where I think I want to continue to read comics, but in terms of collecting, I'm getting more comfortable with the idea of being done, and maybe switching over to like kind of what Jason does, not to that extreme, but I want to have the entire Frank Miller, I have it Daredevil, but I want to have it in Omni, and it's on a shelf, and it looks nice like that, and I can just pull it right off and read it when I want. Right. I'm just at the point where I have to start. I've gone through and gotten rid of a lot of stuff, but I still have that thing in me where I'll go through and find a series I'm never going to read again, but go, maybe someday. I'm getting to the point where I'm getting closer to the not maybe someday shit anymore. And it's getting to be time. I love pop culture. I love going to the comic book store weekly, but I've realized that I'm so far behind on so many series, and there's stuff that I just keep piling up. I have series. I am not kidding. Keith will laugh at this because Keith reads the series. I have every issue of the current Flash run, which is up to 7. What is it now? Like 100 issues?
Probably around 100, maybe a little past.
I have read
Williamston. Yeah,
I've read 0.
Wow,
not 1.
Very good.
I'm sure it is.
It's still,
and I love the Flash, but when it came out, I said put the Flash on my list, and I just never got to it. And now 4 years later, I'm at 0, and I have a half of a long box here somewhere filled with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I would do is when I went to the comic book store, I would only limit myself 3 titles or 2 titles. And that's how I got away with
nothing. Doesn't work because then you see something, you go that.
I know, but I when I went in, I was like Batman, this, and then that. It's some Image Comics, and that's it. I'm done because I knew if I went down the rabbit hole, I would never get out.
Before the coup, I was at about 40 titles a month, and then that gave me during the shutdown, it gave me the excuse to like reassess, and I cut it down to 6, and that's what I gave Dan for my pull list at BoomTube. It's back up to 14.
And it did not help that bi-weekly, okay? Because anytime it was bi-weekly, it means I would visit the comic book store even more often.
Well, and it's funny you say that because I think, John, this is the same problem.
Or bi-monthly.
Bi-monthly. I would much rather just buy the collected editions. You get 6 or 7 issues at once every 6 months, but you got to wait 6 or 8 months.
Right.
You do. Reading it, like, I have to have the next one. I can't wait all the time.
Oh, and it's fun to talk with your friends about them too. Like, what's going to happen? You get all excited.
That's why I just can't stop with the floppies. Although I did cut way down on my Marvel and DC because trash.
I just opened up before I jumped on here. I just opened up the latest issue of Blade Runner 2019, which I'm enjoying.
That's a very
good. And I started reading it, and I read the plot synopsis for the issue prior, and I went, I don't remember that. And this was like, I read it like a month ago. I popped the book open and read it. And as much as I like that book, it was still kind of like not processing. So now I've put that one aside to read both again. Meanwhile, we're doing a podcast tonight on a comic, and I just read 11 issues in collected format of a series that I read years ago that I love. And it was so much more satisfying to read it in one at my pace, I kind of hate the binge mentality, but it's also so much easier to take in and recall stuff. Where if I leave at issue 6 on a Friday night and then read 7 on Saturday, it's all right there. If I read issue 6 in January and then 7 in February, it's kind of like, I don't remember every line of dialogue, and this is kind of important.
I love those collections for when I travel too.
Yeah.
I take them on the road and, get a whole year's worth of comics in 2 little thin magazines.
Oh, they're great. They're great for plane flights. In fact, my brother gave me the whole Wolverine, the older one you had, brother, but it's almost printed in like newspaper.
The essentials.
The essentials.
Yeah.
They're not good quality, but if you put them on a plane and you stuff them in a bag, you don't give a shit, because it's cheap. Yeah. But I read the whole first Wolverine book on the plane, or half of it.
I leave those on the toilet in the hotel.
Yeah. I mean, the paper is like, but still the stories are good.
It's worse than newsprint.
Yeah.
But
well,
collected editions are fun.
I know we completely went off topic, but
sort of.
It's comic books,
Exactly. Have you seen this? Comics are having a lot of trouble right now, but this one in particular has not. The 3 Jokers.
Oh, 3 Jokers.
First printing sold 300,000 copies, and they're going into a second printing. So
wow,
a win here.
I picked up my copy. I'll read it in 2 years or so.
Oh, John, read it. when you hang up here, read it. It's worth the 20 minutes, man. It's good. It's old school. It's Jeff Johns. It's kind of what's been missing in a way. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I can't wait for the next one, which is in about 2 weeks.
Is it in canon, or is it like one of these Elseworlds type things?
So. No, very much so. It's interesting. It's interesting the take he has on the thing, but like it revisits Killing Joke. It revisits the Jason Todd beating, and the idea that there was never only one Joker. There was 3 of them, 3 different ones. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, it's an interesting take on the mythos.
And Red Hood kicks ass in this book. I love Red Hood. Nice. DC,
is that still Jason Todd?
DC's better version of Deadpool. Jason Todd, yeah.
And any version of Deadpool is a better version of Deadpool.
Basically, the Batman who kills, Red Hood. Yeah, really awesome.
I'm psyched. I want to read it now.
The last line of the book, I fell over laughing. I texted Edson. I was like, "Did you read this yet?" And he's like, "Oh, wasn't that great?" It was just
all right. I'll read it. I'll read it tonight. I'll let you know.
Jump it to the top of your pile. I think you'll be. It doesn't, in an age right now where comics are struggling to sell 10,000 copies, 300,000. Which cover did you get? Because there's like 9 covers, right?
Funnily enough, I joked with Dan and Lloyd the day I bought it at BoomTube because there was like 9 or something.
Something 8 or 9, yeah.
So there's like 8 covers, all various versions of the Joker. You got him holding the crowbar.
Yeah.
You got him holding the laughing fish, and I purposely bought the Batman cover. There's one cover with just Batman on it, and I bought the Batman cover.
That it's funny you say that because that was the one I said, well, I can't buy a Joker book with Batman on the front.
And that's what I thought. But I thought, you know what? Fuck the Joker. I'm gonna get Batman.
I bought the one with the crowbar since I love Red Hood so much, and his beating of Jason Todd created the Red Hood. So
yes, it did. Well, actually, people created that by calling that number and letting it happen.
Right. The very first internet poll, right?
Yep, and it also
I called that number.
Won by
who here called that number?
I think I probably did, to be honest with you.
Did you? Yeah,
I don't think I called the number. Did you call the number?
I called it.
You did.
Yeah, I wanted him to live though. So
really,
yeah, I wanted him to live. I didn't want to see a Robin die, no matter how rambunctious and awful Jason Todd was.
Yeah,
I wanted to somehow see him reform.
Hated him. Yeah. So, we can go in a number of different directions here. Let me open my little news folder. I'll let you guys pick. We've got the Oscars. We've got John Boyega and Daisy Ridley. We got Ray Fisher. And we got Star Trek Day.
Well, Keith, I think we should do Star Trek Day because I know you're itching to talk about this.
Yeah, Star Trek for Keith.
Star Trek.
I want to hear another J.J. Abrams rant. Just
No. Boy, did I get
John. J.J. Abrams rants. You get Keith on a J.J. Abrams. It's classic.
I've listened to the show. I've heard.
Oh my god! You motherfucker!
I don't like people who are that fake and that phony and disingenuous. That say one thing and then do the complete opposite. And he's about as phony as they get.
So speaking of Star Trek, I have been watching Lower Decks. So as terrible as it is, I still watch it.
Oh, why?
So, well, before we go to Star Trek Day, can you just explain something to me? I only saw a still from it. What was the Star Trek badge doing, tearing people in limbs?
Oh, it was actually pretty funny. Did you see it, John?
No, I have not watched that. No.
So the cyborg guy with the eye, he comes up with this Star Trek logo, kind of like the paperclip. You know the paperclip when you used to go into Word?
The Microsoft paperclip?
Remember, it used to pop up and talk to you?
Yeah.
And say, how could I help you? Right?
Yeah.
So when they go to the holodeck, he created this thing similar to that. Like, how can I help you? What can I do for you?
Star Trek Delta.
What's that?
It's the Delta, the Star Trek Delta.
The Delta. But it basically is the paperclip from Microsoft Word. And so then while they're in the holodeck, it goes crazy and it actually tries to kill them. And it's actually pretty funny.
Well, I saw a still where people are just ripped apart, like torn apart.
Yeah, the whatever you want to call it, an avatar, whatever that thing is, it locks them out for getting out of the scenario they're in. So basically, it's chasing them around the different places that they were actually going to.
That was on a SpongeBob. They did the same thing.
Yeah, it was actually pretty funny. It was actually pretty funny,
and it was like a maniac version. It was trying to kill everybody.
Yeah, it was probably the funniest thing on the show since all the 5 episodes I've watched because it's terrible. But I keep watching it. I don't know why. I like bad stuff. I'll watch crappy crap just to watch it. I don't know why. It's just I'm a glutton.
And you're still not watching The Boys. You're watching that, but you're not watching The Boys.
Hold on. Let's talk about that for a second. Let's go to
The Boys is amazing, and he refuses to watch it. He says it's like Watchmen. What do you call it? Watchmen Light or something?
No.
It kind of reminds me of a poor man's Watchmen.
Not at all.
Oh, no.
Do you watch it, John?
No.
I watched season 1. I have not started 3 yet. Or 2. Season 2. Yeah.
The 4th episode drops tonight.
Okay.
It's already dropped.
I like season 1 very much, and I read the book, and I love the book.
Yeah.
Season 2, the first 2 episodes you're like, oh, okay. I think, I don't know. I don't want to spoil anything, but I just will say, I think Huey's depression issues are kind of slowing the pace of the show a little bit. But that said, the 3rd episode,
I hear there's lots of heads. I heard it's like Scanners. There's lots of heads exploding for some reason.
The 3rd episode is amazing.
they've added a new character, Stormfront, who I haven't read the books, but I guess it's a male in the comics. They've gender swapped, and the big fear going in is, oh no, they're gender swapping. Here we go. They're going to get woke and do all this crap. No, they actually did that so that they could make fun of the whole idea of getting woke. Yeah, she's not good.
No, she is brutal.
And I love the actress though. Like she's perfect.
Is she worse than Homelander?
Oh, there. Well,
yeah, I think
her and Homelander are going to be. There's friction already, and there's going to be more.
That actor has the perfect face for someone you want to punch in the face.
Yeah.
Corporate douchebag face, right?
Yeah.
I just went crazy the last couple weeks, and I watched all of the Umbrella Academy and all the boys, so I can catch up because I was so far behind. And now I'm finally on track. So yeah, I love the boys. I love it. And Umbrella Academy is fun too.
I didn't see season 2 yet. I'm watching another show right now, and I try to if I'm watching something to completion, I try not to watch more than just that, so that if I'm gonna watch something, I'm watching episodes of the one that I'm trying to finish.
Mhm.
So once I finish this, I'm gonna probably do Umbrella Academy season 2, and then Boys will probably be a little further ahead, and I'll jump on that.
You're like me. I'm a container person.
Yeah.
So I had to finish a whole season of Star Trek before I could start Umbrella Academy because I didn't want to go back and forth.
Right.
I want to focus on one. Yeah. So no, they're both really, really good. And a lot of fun in the Umbrella Academy in particular. The acting is phenomenal. Just the guy who plays Klaus.
He's great.
In 5, the kid.
Yeah.
I don't know where they found him. And Jason and I were texting each other one night. I think they should shoot seasons 3 and 4 at the same time, or 3, 4, and 5, because once that kid hits puberty, it's over.
Right. It's over. Yeah.
What are you
He
going to
loses that whole maniacal, 15-year-old genius, thing he has going on.
He's kind of like Damian Wayne, he's like this little puppy, because he's got this old soul inside of him. It just won't work if he gets taller and older.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not going to work once he's a young adult in his 20s.
Right. Yeah. So I think he's like 16 now. So he actually looks younger than he really is, but they just better hurry up and cash in.
And pretty much anything after this season, if this season follows the books, is going to be, I think, new material, because there was only 2 series of the Umbrella Academy. The first one, which was the first season, and then this is the second season, the second arc. And I think he just did one like a year ago.
Right. I think there's another one. Right.
And there's a Klaus mini series that they're going to be doing, but other than that, there's nothing original anymore. So this could very much go the way of Game of Thrones, where the television show has to go its own way.
It supersedes, right? Yeah,
and smash 100 miles an hour into a brick wall, apparently, because that happened with the other one, right? With Game of Thrones. I didn't watch it. I just hear that everyone was pissed at that. So
I didn't hate it, but it wasn't as good as the earlier stuff. I wasn't as mad as everybody was at it, but I also wasn't. I think people were really invested in it, and when you get invested in something, if it pisses you off, you're hurt by it. I wasn't hurt by it.
Right.
I enjoyed it. It was fine. There was a battle episode in the last season of Game of Thrones that was like 3 episodes towards the end, and it took place in the dark, and everybody complained that it was too dark. And if that episode happened 10 years ago on television, people's minds would have been completely obliterated at the amount of it was like the Battle of Helm's Deep in Lord of the Rings, Two Towers,
right?
But on television, and it was amazing. It was an amazing feat of stunt work and coordination, and it was an hour of this insane battle. And the next day, everybody's like, "Oh, it was too dark," or this character did this thing. I was amazed by it, so I didn't have the hate for that ending as like everybody else did. It wasn't great, but yeah, I'm not butthurt by that. But I'm also a huge Lost fan, so I'm used to people hating stuff that I understand what it's like. So
it started in the 90s, I think, with like Seinfeld's finale, and
yeah,
then everybody's finale went off the rails. Even I love The Shield, but I hated the last episode. I was like, really? I mean, there was a lot of closure, but at the same time, it was like, By the way, I see Amazing Spider-Man is at 239 behind you with the Hobgoblin tearing.
Yes. Signed by Roger Stern.
Oh, great issue.
Oh, wow.
Actually, funnily enough, it goes to show my memory. It was probably the day I met you, Keith, because he sat right across from you guys.
That's right.
At Terrificon the first year. And that was when I met you and Jackie, and I brought that book that day, and he signed it right there.
2016, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. That was fun.
Is that the first appearance of the Hobgoblin?
Correctamundo.
Yeah.
Wow.
It does not, and to answer the question most people ask, it does not have the Lakeshore tattoos in it. It's one of the 2 books Marvel put out with with tattoos. That's my copy from childhood. It does not have the tattoos.
Yeah.
That was I got into reading it just before that. And that was probably like the 5th or 6th issue I ever bought when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, I was immediately attracted to John Romita Jr.'s art when I was little. I was like, whoa, look at that. You know, something about he's gotten a lot looser, you know, in his older age, but just his layouts, just the way he tells stories visually, I always was attracted to.
Our newest episode that just came out yesterday is about a John Romita Jr. book, and we discuss, like, I love John Romita Jr. even now. A lot of people don't like him, and we discuss how even if you don't like his art style, you can't deny his storytelling in art.
Oh, his layouts are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can really tell a story. Oh, we lost Jude. He probably did the same thing I did and clicked back. Let's add Jude back in. What'd you do? You moved yourself.
I don't know. I went bye-bye.
So earlier in the week, we celebrated the 54th birthday of Star Trek, September 8th, 1966. So Secret Hideout decided, I think they were watching DC Fandom a few weeks ago and went, oh, let's do our own little Star Trek show convention, virtual convention called Star Trek Day. So they announce it here on the 3rd, you know, join us for Star Trek Day on September 8th, blah, blah, blah. And they have a little trailer here, and Shatner, if you don't follow Shatner on Twitter, you should, because it's awesome. They should take all his tweets and put them in like the Reader's Digest bathroom reader kind of thing. So he immediately goes, where's the JJ movies? Do they get celebrated on a different day in the Kelvin timeline?
Wasn't there a problem with him when they had that poster? They released that poster. Everybody. Okay.
I'm getting.
I know all about this then.
So, it turns out he's not invited. So they post like the schedule of all their little panels for each show. And they've selectively, like, Marina Sirtis got left out, and she said, geez, I guess my invitation got lost in the mail. And the original series, they only invited George Takei and Gene Roddenberry's son, Rod Roddenberry, to represent the original show. You've got Captain Kirk is still out there. Didn't invite him. So someone writes to Shatner and says, sorry to see you aren't on the list for the series that kicked this all off. You are the chief cornerstone that holds it all together. And Shatner says, well, they have George Takei and Will Wheaton booked to celebrate the day. That should cover everything. Shatner says, how do you feel about Lower Decks? You mean a basement? We don't have basements in LA. So then he checks out their promo art.
This is awesome.
Their promo art, and you know, I should have grabbed the actual one. But
yeah, this is not the right one.
He was like this big. I got to find the original.
No, you have to find the original. You have to.
Give me a second. Star Trek Day post. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
It's hilarious. It's so funny.
Here it is. All right. Let me see. So let me just.
This poster is actually better than the one you're going to show. That gives a little.
So, whoops. Chrome tab, Star Trek Day. So there's the poster, right?
Oh, jeez.
Look at the two people that are freaking in the forefront.
CBS All Access is clearly
how big Shatner's that is.
So let's just, you got Mikey Spock here, Michael Burnham, and the Discovery ship front and center with old Picard from their Picard show. And then around the edges, we got Spock, Sulu. They got their fake Captain Pike, Sisko, Uhura, Janeway, and the smallest person on the poster. The smallest guy right here.
The original captain.
The face of the freaking franchise, right?
He's buried.
He's buried. He's always obscured by the nebula.
Behind Mikey Spock, right? So let me go back. So
I don't blame him for being sarcastic.
Oh, he goes, oh, look, there I am. The eye roll, and he magnifies it so you can see him, right? And then this is great. May I make a really small change to this, Alex Kurtzman? So he takes himself off the poster since he wasn't invited.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Wow.
Organization, such an insult to Captain Kirk and William Shatner, Star Trek CBS. Shatner says, not an insult at all. They are apparently showing they are woke, and I imagine using image sizes as a measure of wokeness. Personally, I'd rather be sleeping. Then on the actual day, September 8th, he says it's Star Trek's birthday today, and he puts the cake on the chair in basically the same scale that he was on in the poster.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I just threw this down at the end too because this is great. These are the kind of people you get on social media that says, what was it like to work with Rod Serling on Twilight Zone? Was he a fan of Star Trek? You do realize that Twilight Zone ran from 1959 through 1964, which is 2 years before Star Trek premiered. I was going through making this list of his tweets, and I saw that and went, "Oh my god,
that's so funny."
Yeah. So the Star Trek Day. Let me just open these two. Open with. So
Bill doesn't mince words. I love it.
He does not mince words. So
why should he? I mean, come on. He's Captain Kirk.
They have their Star Trek Day, and it really, this is really sad. Let me just go here first. So here's their YouTube channel. They have 211,000 subscribers. And let's go to their Star Trek Day list of videos here. And they don't have the views on this page. Damn it. Let me go back. We'll just look underneath here. Wait a minute. Videos. Here we go. So let's look at some of their numbers here.
Cat crying in the background.
That's Baxter.
So
that's 18-year-old Baxter.
You guys, yeah, you can see the numbers. So
yeah.
So 2 days ago, actually, well, almost 3, because that was what's today, the 11th. This was on the 8th. 211,000 subscribers. Look at the views they've gotten on these Patrick Stewart and Jonathan Frakes, 5,000. Star Trek Universe, 9,000. Next Generation Panel, 25, which is okay. Look at this one. Patrick Stewart by himself, 4,000 views. Jack Quaid, who does the voice on the new cartoon, 1.6. The guy from The Boys. Look at this one. Tawny Newsome, 884 views. These are pitiful. Lower Decks, 10,000. Scott Bakula, 1,000. Dominic Keating, 388.
No, Lower Decks got 20,000 views now.
Enterprise Panel got 29. But these, Robert McNeil and Garrett Wong, 974. Kate Mulgrew, 1,004. George Takei, 2,000. George Takei Talks Activism, 732. George Takei on the Alphabet Community, 1,000. Original Series, 7,000. New Worlds, 14. Like, these are bad. So, ironically.
So, were these released only on YouTube, or did they have a day where they release them in order and you watch like a long stream? They
streamed them live. There was, 5 or 6 or whatever it was. And then they put them out on YouTube. It's kind of like what we're doing. It gets archived. So these numbers are for 211,000. This is Star Trek. This is a major franchise. Look at those numbers. Ironically, let me share this screen with you. This is all telling. I don't know who watches Doomcock on YouTube. He's great. Let's go to Doomcock's videos. Doomcock, the next day, did a review, basically doing what I just did. He went through all their numbers and was like, oh my God. His one video covering Star Trek Day, 67,000.
Yeah, it was really good too. It was very heartfelt.
Less subscribers.
Yep.
He went through the whole 67,000. So he almost, with one video, on a channel of about the same size got as many views as all of the Star Trek ones put together. To me, that's an epic fail. That's an epic fail.
You know what the problem with the Star Trek fandom is, as opposed to Star Wars, which is more geared towards kids. So Star Wars 77 comes out, and kids of 5 years old can watch that and kind of grasp onto it. You've got to be a little bit older. I got into Star Trek when I was probably 9, 10, 11. You know, I used to watch the marathons on Channel 9 when I was a kid, or Channel 20 when I was a kid.
I was PIX 11 for me.
Yeah. So, and then the movies and everything. You can't show a 5-year-old kid Star Trek the motion picture. You can't show a 5-year-old kid a season of Star Trek. Star Trek fandom, and this is going to hurt, Keith, put your hands over your ears, is a dying breed.
No, Star Trek itself is dead.
Star Trek, look, and I'll go out there and say it. I know you hate when I say it. I love Star Trek Discovery.
Fine.
I enjoy the hell out of that show. I didn't care for Picard. But the further we get away from 1966, and, you know, in earnest, the 90s Trek, when early 90s, late 80s, when Next Generation was there.
90s,
that was the end.
90s Trek was the apex.
Right.
I think.
And Next Generation was the actual delineation line where the fandom point kind of comes to an end, because yes, you're going to find pockets of people that love Deep Space Nine, which I really enjoy, and I know you do, Keith, and you're going to find pockets of people that love Voyager, and you're going to find smaller pockets of people that love Enterprise and Discovery and Picard. It's just not where it's just a dying thing. So, and the first sign that it was dying and not important to me to an extreme extent was 4 years ago when Star Trek Beyond came out, and in the 50th year, and there was no fanfare about that. They didn't, advertise it as, 50th year of Star Trek, brand new movie. If I remember correctly, the movie got pushed back at one point to like late summer, because like it just didn't seem like. And again, I actually enjoyed Star Trek Beyond for what it was, for a stupid action movie, but it was not representative of what Star Trek is,
I'm with you. Especially
I just feel like it's just a dying fandom. And the older people get, I mean, you got to think too, Keith, at your age or at my age, if we're Star Trek fans, you're young for an original series Star Trek fan.
Right.
A lot of the people that were there then are close to or on their way out, Yeah. And it just, I just don't think, I don't want to say there's not room for it anymore, but the fervor for it just isn't there anymore, because they haven't, since Next Generation, and I wasn't a Next Generation fan, but that was something the fans really clung to. A lot of them did. It just seems like there hasn't been a large focus, and then when they do something, like Enterprise, 3 years, 4 years and out, these movies, these J.J. Abrams movies, it seems like the first one they barreled in there with all the intentions to start this up again as something that could be every 2 years you get your brand new Star Trek movie, and here we are 10 years later and it's over. It's not going to happen anymore. It just seems like it's one of those franchises that it can't go on anymore. And I wish it could, and I wish the fervor was there, but it's not.
Yeah, unfortunately, Inglorious Trexperts had Manny Cotto on a while back, and he has been in the writers' rooms for some of this new Trek, and there's mandates that don't make it like Star Trek. Don't do Star Trek shit on Star Trek. It's being stewarded by people who don't like Star Trek and are trying to turn it into something Star Trek is not. I don't know. I think it's broken for good. Once you break it, it's tough to put, the genie's out of the bottle. And Paramount brought in this woman, Emma Watts from Fox. She's responsible for Deadpool. She had the foresight to let Ryan Reynolds do what he wanted, and it was a huge hit. But she said Star Trek needs to be completely revitalized at its core. And there's supposedly, rumor has it, that there's a civil war going on with her and Alex Kurtzman right now. I think she's doing things like Star Trek Day. She's doing things like putting Star Trek Discovery on regular CBS to get actual Nielsen ratings to get rid of him. The proof, I mean, we just looked at those numbers. I mean, that's, you have a major IP and you're getting 700, 800 hits on some of these videos. Like,
right. It's ridiculous.
That's insane. I'd be psyched for those numbers, but I'm not Paramount Pictures or CBS. So it's going to be interesting to watch, but I think you're right because the fandom split. We all have our old track, and there's between series in the 90s, Star Trek and Enterprise and whatnot, there's over 700 episodes to watch.
Yeah. Right. You got plenty of stuff.
Plenty of content. And so I don't need, it's just sad for me as a lifelong Star Trek fan to watch this happen. When you have Alex Kurtzman come out at the San Diego Comic-Con panel and say, this isn't about promoting Star Trek anymore. It's about promoting my political agenda. Well, there's your problem. That's a huge problem.
Right. That's too much. There's no room for that to be that could be secondary. That could be added in if it's important to the story, but it doesn't have to be the focus.
Always been part of Star Trek from day one. That's always been a part of Star Trek, but they did it cleverly. It was always an alien race they came across that was non-binary or something like this, where they just announced 2 new characters last week, totally tokenized them. Oh, look, we have 2 non-gender characters that are joining. Like it wasn't about we have the exciting characters and we're gonna tell some great new stories with them. And that was just like, oh, look how they identify. They're all their pronouns,
right?
And to push an agenda that Star Trek doesn't need. Star Trek has always had that. Always. You just take a step back and you can tell just by Lower Decks that they don't watch. They've never watched the old stuff. That first episode of Lower Decks when they beamed the guy up, what's his name, Boimler or whatever his name is, the guy that they keep kicking around, the white kid,
right,
with the purple hair. They beam him up and he's covered in that slimy stuff. And the doctor says, "Well, he's worthless, but we need what's on him."
Well, he's a cat. The doctor's a cat. Yeah.
McCoy, Bashir, Crusher, none of the doctors would say that a crew member was worthless.
But here's the thing about Lower Decks. Lower Decks doesn't even have to be associated with Star Trek, and it could be its own separate cartoon.
But they're calling it canon. They're calling it part of
and that's embarrassing because it's like a Rick and Morty cartoon, and it's goofy and it's bad. And
it's like bad.
If you're saying that's canon, then that's it must be an alternate universe because I don't know how to play it with canon at all. I mean, it could be its own separate show. It doesn't have to be Star Trek. It could be anything. It could be,
But I've given them all a fair shot. Discovery, I went in all excited, and
but Keith, maybe you should go into it thinking that.
Started a war, started a mutiny, and had her captain killed, and failed upwards. And I was like, "This character is completely unlikable. I can't watch this." So I shut it off. Picard, I got about the same distance, 3 or 4 episodes. I was like, "This is hot garbage." It was bad, and they made Picard into a simpering, apologetic shell of his former self. And then the Lower Decks is just. I only need to see the one. I'm sad. I love Star Trek.
Well, the thing is and I've always been curious why, but if you go on Netflix, you can watch anything from Deep Space Nine, from The Next Gen, from the original, they have all the shows on there with all the episodes, all the seasons, and it's been like that since I moved into my house because I remember watching all the Next Gens when I first moved in. Mm-hmm. And that was in 2013. So Netflix has been holding on to those like an archive, and it's how many years later, and they're still doing it.
Well, they made a good deal then for long term, but the new stuff's under a firewall. But Netflix financed season 1 of Discovery, and then pulled their funding after season 1, and now apparently Amazon's pulling their funding now too. So,
well, what's funny is
we're saying Star Trek Day was to try to get more investors aboard.
Well, what's really kind of funny is I know we're going to talk about maybe this later, but Cobra Kai was originally released through YouTube Red, and they weren't going to renew I think a third season or a fourth, and then Netflix is give us the show, and then they got to carry it out even longer now. So, and I think you're going to see a lot of that maybe with Netflix. So maybe that affects how shows are written now.
Well, shows are written by committee. They're corporations now. It goes with, look at Star Wars. Star Wars was one guy's vision, right? George Lucas. Love it or hate it, prequels. We used to kill the prequels, but you look at them now in hindsight, and then look at the Disney Star Wars, how it's written by corporate committee. And we can go right there now if you want.
I got to get going. I have my show in a little bit, and I got to eat real quick. So, as much as
I still owe him, for that Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I will tell him. Yeah, Mansor's got some weird taste. That's for sure.
Believe that not only that he's only seen it twice and fell asleep both times.
Yeah,
tell him. I went to the Center Cinema in Wallingford, which is now Jake's part of. In the medical center. Is it a medical center still?
Yeah. Yep.
14 Saturdays in a row.
I know. I've heard it on the show.
Yeah.
I actually meant to mention that on the show and I forgot. But yeah. Yeah, no, I know. I got a Raiders poster back there somewhere. Trust me, I'm not him.
The funniest part is my friend Jason Zandri was my best friend at the time. When he first showed me back when they used to have to put the movie ads in the newspaper.
Yeah.
He showed me the ad. Let's go see this. It's got Han Solo in it. And I saw the fedora and stuff. I said, I hate Westerns. I don't want to go see that. He made me go. I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to see this. And I went. And what did it take? 3-4 minutes? I was like,
one of the greatest, if not the greatest adventure movies of all time.
And I wanted to be an archaeologist after that.
Well, that's not what it's really all about, though, right?
Once I found that out, yeah. I mean, I was 12 when it came out.
Yeah.
Once I found out you're just out in the desert with a toothbrush.
Yeah, using protractors and taking pictures of things, and
I was like, I'll pass on the archaeology thing. I'd rather go get shot at and jump off a cliff, not get hurt, but
fight a Nazi mechanic.
Nazis.
Yeah. All right, Nazis. I hate these guys. All right, guys, thanks for having me on,
John.
I appreciate it.
Before you go, man, plug your show.
Oh, Pine of Comics. Check us out anywhere you get your podcast, Pine of Comics, and new episodes every week. This week we are talking about the Mark Millar, John Romita Jr. Wolverine story arc, Enemy of the State, which came out I think in 2004. So we're discussing that. And coming up, I'll give you a couple coming ups. We have Pint Movie Invitational. We got a couple good movies coming up. Eastern Promises, which is a David Cronenberg movie from the mid 2000s. Mm-hmm. We just did one. It was the newest movie we had done, and I had not gotten to see it yet. 1917.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
Oh, that was awesome. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Watch that movie. It's really good. And like I said before, we're going to be doing probably Poltergeist and a whole bunch of other stuff. So
Jaws
Keith
3D.
knows the show. Yeah, and we're doing Jaws 3D with Keith for we're doing a new series called Trash Tolerable or Treasure, where we talk about movies that have reputations for being bad. And we decide whether each of us, there's 3 of us on normally, whether we think it was truly trash, a tolerable, where it was, that's not so bad, or if we really liked it a lot, treasure. Our first episode was 2 episodes ago. We talked about the 1995 Kevin Costner ocean epic Water World, and we had a good time. We had a fun time. So
was that a hard one?
I had another shot after listening to that.
Did you watch it again?
Not yet, but I'm
going. Waterworld, really?
I enjoy that movie. It's been a treasure in my book. We have 2 more in the can that will be coming out soon. Keith will want to hear this one. We did Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and we did the Ridley Scott Alien prequel, Prometheus. So we talked about those, and we're going to be doing Jaws 3D with Keith. And we're also going to we already have planned out Batman Forever, with our friend Mike Butler from Forgotten Cinema. So those have all been fun. So check us out, Pine of Comics, and we got a YouTube page too. So please check that out.
Your show is a lot of fun. I love it. And
Yeah.
Make sure you drop me a line offline or whatever. We've got to talk about this previews thing.
Yes, absolutely. I talked to Dan about that 2 days ago.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you for having me on. Jason.
John, it's always good to see you.
Always good seeing you
John.
guys. Jason, that omnibus collection. Awesome. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Discovery season 3. John.
See you guys.
He is good peoples.
Yeah, his Friday, he's doing the Friday the 14th movies too. And I thought he was going on every Friday.
Saturday.
I thought he went on Friday last time, but
Saturday 14th. You meant?
no, he did his second Friday the 13th yesterday. He said.
Yeah,
And
no,
Saturday 14th.
you said Saturday the 5th, 13th.
What?
Yeah, you got it all backwards.
I
You
did
get it all.
not say that. I said Friday the 13th.
You said Saturday.
I did?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Anyway.
Anyway,
But
going to
he-
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway, I was going to segue into saying that because I'm a big horror film fan. He's been doing all the Friday the 13th, and I missed the second movie, but he's going all the way up to how many movies there are? 8, brother? You watched them all in a row, right?
I watched all of them, but the New Line Cinema ones. I stopped
okay.
I stopped at Jason Takes Manhattan.
I've seen 2, the first 2.
Did you watch the one where he goes into outer space?
No, that's a New Line Cinema.
Which one was that?
I don't even
I remember that.
he has
late
like a cybernetic. He has like a cybernetic mask on.
early
Yeah.
2000s, something like that.
Yeah.
I
Those
remember-
actually, I don't think those were on Netflix. I watched all of the ones that were on Netflix, which is all the early ones.
I don't know if they're up there anymore. I don't think they're there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I watched the first and I watched the second.
Been
and
Amazon.
I kind of want to watch them all in a row now because they're not great, but for some odd reason I like.
They're
For me,
cheesy.
I only
I'll
watch,
skip the boys to watch Lower Decks. I don't get it, but
I don't either because
maybe I like car crashes. I don't
right
know.
now you're gonna watch the first 5 minutes of The Boys, Jude, and you're gonna be up all night.
Well, I've watched the first season. I just
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
That the first 20 seconds when he
when he runs through his girlfriend. Guy's sitting there, his girlfriend explodes and blood all over him.
A Train's really interesting too. He's kind of he's off the radar a lot because everybody talks about Homelander, but A Train's complicated, and I like what they're doing with him. They're kind of doing the parallel as he's addicted to drugs or whatever.
But you're not gonna admit it is a poor man's.
It's not a poor man's Watchmen. It
no,
works.
it's a spoof of the Justice League if they were owned by corporate America.
Yeah.
Which they now are. Ironically, DC is now owned by a large corporation. It makes fun of corporate America. It makes fun of the mass media. It makes fun of
Wokeness.
and wokeness. I mean, it takes a shot at. It's great. It's great. It's not. The Watchmen was just a darker take on superheroes and the responsibility that comes with being a superhero. These guys don't have responsibility. The boys, they're like,
right. So they're basically they have narcissistic behaviors, but at the same time, they don't know that what they're doing is not.
It kind of reminds me of the spoiled athlete syndrome.
Right.
Where these kids come up through school and people do their homework for them and they get pushed through school because they're the star quarterback. And then when they get into real life post career, a lot of them get into trouble. They don't know how to function properly because they're taken care of. And that's
Coddled. Yeah.
right. And that's, you've got Vought just completely, telling them what to say and giving them their marching orders and the whole bit. And, it is fun watching Homelander realize that he doesn't need any of it, that he's really the one in charge. And when he takes that turn mid-season 1, it gets kind of scary, actually. I kept waiting for him to kill what's-her-face there.
The director. Stillwell. Madeline.
Yeah, Stillwell. What was the actor there? It was Elizabeth Shue. Yeah. The way he ends up getting rid of her at the end, man. Beautiful visual where he just carved out her head with the Jesus Christ.
The actor does a great job of playing him. He always has this like underlying tension, like he's going to explode at any second and go off on something. Yeah.
He stares right through people.
Yeah.
And he's the Superman type guy, right?
He's Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the psychopathic Superman.
Yep. You know, it's obvious who they all are. I mean, it's the Justice League. You've got the Deep is Aquaman. And he's the butt of the jokes.
Yeah.
You got the Wonder Woman character that's this, you know, the number 2 behind Homelander. The Flash is A-Train. You know, it's the Justice League. So it's and I guess Stormfront's Shazam.
Yeah, I guess you could qualify her as Shazam.
I do like the Green Arrow knockoff too. That's in season 2.
the cult member, yeah.
The cult, and he trips him out on the mushrooms, and
he's just a guy who shoots bow and arrows.
But I never miss. I love that one scene where he says, you know, they were in some big battle.
Yeah,
I was using all my arrows, but a quiver can only hold so many arrows, and I didn't have any more.
That never happens to Green Arrow.
Right. Or Hawkeye, right?
Hawkeye.
Unlimited.
Right.
So
unlimited ammo.
I can't wait to watch episode 4 later. It's great. And you know, a lot of people are upset that they didn't drop all 8 episodes this time, that they're doing it weekly. And I think they need to start doing that again. The problem with binging is what you and I would be done with season 2 in one day.
Oh yeah, I did that with Stranger Things. I watched literally, and my brother and I did that with Titans. We literally spent the whole day from like morning till late at night finishing up a whole season.
There's something to be said for having to wait for appointment television.
Yeah, right. You don't feel good about yourself after you're done binge watching a whole day of a season.
Well, binging is not with all these competing streaming services. Binging is not a viable business model. Because if you're going to give somebody a whole season, they're going to watch it in one day, and then you have to wait a year to get the next season, right? You're going to lose subscribers that way. You know, this way, if you string it out over a couple months, they're at least going to hang on for 2 or 3 months to watch the whole season. Kind of like what Mandalorian's doing. I'm going to have to hold on to Disney Plus until Mando's over with, right? Then I can shut it down till next year. So,
and you haven't seen those, brother, yet, have you?
Mando, I saw the first 4 episodes. I didn't finish it. I don't have HBO.
That's Disney Plus.
Or Disney Plus, I'm sorry. I don't have either.
They're dropping season 2 October 20th-ish, somewhere in there. So guaranteed they'll have a few sign-up specials or try it for a month free kind of thing.
Yeah.
Around that, and you could probably just grab it and catch up real quick.
I mean, I could try to find a way to get them over to you, but
which
I wish they would put them out on Blu-ray. I don't know why they're not on Blu-ray yet.
You know, it's really funny. Somebody actually said that online recently. They were like, why aren't these released on Blu-ray yet? And they couldn't give a clear answer. And I don't know why.
Disney, there was an article. Let me see if I can find it. There was an article a while back where Disney does not put anything on Blu-ray anymore.
Wow. Because Mando's so good. I would like to see extras. I'd like to see how they, made it.
Well, actually, they have that on. There's a show called The Gallery on Disney Plus, and it's the making of The Mandalorian. And it's 8 half-hour episodes showing how they did it. And you're right, that should go on the Blu-ray.
Totally.
Well, now here's another article I just found from August 12th. Earlier this week, we reported. Here, let me share it. Come on. Clicking on things, and it's like slow. So it says here, earlier this week, we reported the rumor that Walt Disney Company had decided to cease the physical Blu-ray copies of the Moody catalog, including Disney movies, Pixar movies, as well as Fox and Marvel. And now the company has formally denied those claims. Disney spokesperson told Forbes there are no plans to discontinue releases in a particular format. We evaluate each release on a case-by-case basis, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, then put Mandalorian on Blu-ray. Disney.
I mean, if they were to release it for the Christmas season, it would freaking sell. They would make tons of money. And people would be able to catch up who haven't watched it. I mean, that's the business model. That's perfect sense. Common sense to do that.
Yeah, it does make sense to do that. But we're talking about, and they're hemorrhaging money right now. They could really use Mandalorian Blu-ray. Let's see.
Doesn't make any sense.
Blu-ray.com. The Mandalorian.
You're gonna find some guys like hacked DVD or Blu-ray.
There's probably going to be bootleg copies of it made.
Oh, if you go to a con, there's definitely gonna be Blu-ray copies of it.
Forum. Let's see. One day ago, Lucasfilm was excited to announce Jon Favreau was signed on to produce and write a live action. No, that's old. Let me go to the last page here. Last. You know who would know this is Bill Hunt. At Digital Bits, Bill Hunt would know if this is going to happen. I don't see it. Second season.
It doesn't exist.
The character stories. Mandolin 2. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it'll be
Someday.
enough at some point. Yeah.
Someday.
It only makes sense. It only makes sense. But while we're talking about Mandalorian, I don't know if you've seen the trouble that Cara Dune is getting into. Gina Carano.
Who's that?
She's on Mandalorian. She's a former MMA fighter.
Oh, she's yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I love
Oh,
her character.
I remember her. Yeah, that's like the.
I don't know if
fourth
she made it to right. I don't know if she made it to the third episode or fourth.
Yeah, no, that was like the last episode I saw with her in it.
Yeah. She comes back at the end of the season. I think she'll be in a lot more season 2. She's great. She's great, but the Twitter mob is after her because she's, saying things like, if we can protest, why can't we open church?
Ooh, yeah.
Why can't we? She's applying common sense to what's going on, and there's no common sense to what's going on. So, she's been called a Nazi and everything else now. You're alt-right if you question anything these days. So
Ridiculous. Nobody should be calling each other Nazis. It's just stupid.
oh, that's the way it is now. It's you're either with the far left or you're a alt-right.
You're
Nazi.
a Nazi.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You're an istophobe and a Nazi. And if God forbid, if you say no, I'm kind of middle and pragmatic. Whoo! Bag. So John Boyega. I'm sure you guys saw this last week.
Oh yeah, he went nuts.
Confirmed everything the fans have been saying about the Star Wars stuff.
Oh, I didn't see this.
Oh yeah, he went off the rails
with GQ, and he pretty much went off about the way he was treated. I
think with whatever's going on now with the Black Lives Movement, I think it's sort of made him come out of his shell and just say, okay, well, now it's all out on the table and I have a reason to actually say something.
Well,
and
he said,
I think that's an influence, but
you were laughing earlier about my rant on J.J. Abrams. Look at this quote right here. This is exactly what I said that day. Exactly what I said. What I say to Disney is do not market a black character as important and then push them aside. That's exactly what they did. They kind of sold Finn as one of the most important characters in the new trilogy and then made him a janitor. He does nothing. By the third movie, he's running around like his hair's on fire and screaming, Ray, save me. It's just, I need you guys to understand how painful this shit is. Yeah. So,
well, we all know who's to blame, right?
Well, it's funny. I'm trying to find it here. He says something to the effect of, he doesn't blame JJ, even though in my opinion, JJ is the one that teed the whole thing up. But he says something to the effect of, it wasn't JJ's job to come back in and fix this shit. He goes on to say stuff like they knew exactly what to do with Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley, but they didn't know what to do with me. He complained about the makeup people didn't know how to do black people's hair. But he definitely cleared JJ of any blame, but here it is. You guys knew what to do with Daisy Ridley and you knew what to do with Adam Driver. You knew what to do with all these other people, but when it came to Kelly Marie Tran, when it came to John Boyega, fuck all. So what do you want me to say? What they want you to say is, I enjoyed being a part of it. It was a great experience. Nah. I'll take that deal when it's a great experience. They gave all the to Adam Driver, all the nuance to Daisy Ridley. Let's be honest. Daisy knows this. Adam knows this. Everybody knows. I'm not exposing anything.
So my question is if they didn't actually have his character in the movie, would it still just been the movies? Meaning that it wouldn't have mattered.
No, because we'll get to that when we get to Daisy Ridley's part in all this. They had no plan, and it was obvious they had no plan. They were making this shit up as they went along. Here he goes. He's like, they're always scared. They're always freaking sweating. And what he sees is a relative salvage job of attorney director J.J. Abrams performing Rise of Skywalker. Everybody needs to leave my boy alone. He isn't even supposed to come back and try and save your shit.
I mean, I don't think anything. I mean, I understand what he's talking about, but through my perspective, I don't think anything could have saved how terrible the characters were in the fucking movie anyway.
There are no characters.
The movie was shit to begin with, bro.
Exactly. Exactly the point.
The characters all sucked. I mean, I know you're complaining about your character, but all the characters sucked.
But here's the thing. It's.
I mean, Ray was a fucking cardboard cutout that was placed on the thing.
Right. But here, now if you go through, I'll go through every single one of these access media sites, every single one that was screaming that, we're man babies, we're haters, we're the fandom menace. Oh my God, you can't shit on Star Wars like this. You're supposed to like it. Now, every single one of these sites, I'm going through every single one. Now, all of a sudden, oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh, look at John Boyega. Oh, geez. Oh, it's kind of funny because every single one of these sites now is saying what everybody's been saying on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook for years.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, I thought we were whining man babies. I thought we were maladjusted human beings. We were haters and ists and phobes. But now, Variety in Hollywood Reporter and CBR and all these sites, all of them are now suddenly like, this is big news to them. Whoa, wait a minute. Now John Boyega says there's a problem here.
Right.
Yeah.
The problem that we said they minimized, they shrunk him down on the poster for China because China doesn't like people of color. They were fine with that. They took his character and completely eliminated him from any importance.
Like you said before, they tokenized him. They basically brought him over as the token black man, and they minimized him.
You're
okay. I'm gonna totally quote Chasing Amy's, but wasn't Lando Calrissian important?
No. Lando Calrissian served.
Brother, say it, brother. Say it. What is it? What about Lando?
Didn't Lando fly the Millennium Falcon?
The thing with,
Lando got to fly the Millennium Falcon.
The thing with Finn is, I mean, the missed story opportunity.
No, I know. Regardless of his color, I mean, I get where you're going.
He's a stormtrooper,
right?
Who, on his first job, sees genocide and says, "Oh no! This is not what I signed up for. I want out of here."
Right.
He's a conscience,
and he defects. He has a stormtrooper with a conscience. Now that's interesting enough.
That's interesting.
But then they put a lightsaber in his hands, right? So you think maybe he's got force sensitivity, he's force aware. And you could go down that road. But not only is he a defecting stormtrooper, but he's also a potential Jedi Knight.
I think they
they
were teasing.
There's so many things you could do with him.
They were teasing that, and I think what happened was the story was, JJ did the story, and then basically the second guy, I forgot his name, he butchered whatever the hell that one was.
Much who John Boyega is blaming in all this without saying.
Well, it's true. I don't think they had a path planned out and what was going to happen. So JJ Abrams left all these loose ends, and he's like, "Go at it, guys." And then they didn't do a good job tying them up.
J.J. Abrams had no plan going in either. When you buy a $4 billion property from George Lucas and you're going to make it one of your flagship IPs, you're going to sell toys, you're going to build an amusement park, you're going to make video games, you're going to sell comic books, the whole thing, right? But the core of that property are the movies. And you've had how many years? I mean, you'd think the first thing they would do is get in a room and on a whiteboard, movie 1, this happens. Movie 2, we got to hit these things. Movie 3, the end. In between, you fill in all the stupid shit. But these key things that need to happen, they didn't do that.
But neither did Lucas. Like the first movie, the whole script between Leia and
George Lucas didn't expect Star Wars to become what it was.
No, he didn't. But then they wrote that they were brother and sister, and that shocked everybody since they were almost made out in the first movie.
Well, right, but the first movie was a one-off. That's totally different from Disney buying an established $4 billion property and then just shitting all over it, just pissing at. They think all they had to do was set it and forget it. I clearly think they didn't think they had to do much work.
Plus, they had a rich tapestry of expanded universe stories to draw from. It was just given to them. They could have taken
Filoni's Clone Wars.
Well, I mean, Mandalorian, case in point, they could do a miniseries that outplays, with a lower budget, outplays the feature blockbuster films. That's something to fucking really think about.
Because the two guys in charge know the property. The two guys in charge respect the property. The two guys in charge understand what George Lucas was trying to do.
Right.
Meanwhile, you have Kathleen Kennedy saying, well, we didn't have any source material to work from. She actually said that.
You know how many books, video games?
I know.
You know how many? I mean, you already have, 6 movies to draw from.
Right. So
I mean, the content is like a gold mine. It's like striking oil. Like
so much more.
It's like boom.
Well, we talked about and John. I wish he was still here because what he said about Star Trek fans applies to Star Wars fans. It's the same thing.
Well, she was playing it onto her agenda. She had an agenda for Rey all along, and it didn't make a difference.
Kathleen, yeah, but I'm talking about fans in general. The people who really love Star Wars are our age. If you take my daughter doesn't care about Star Wars. You could show it to her and she'd be like, okay,
no,
it's not special. There's nothing special about it.
Well, here before you begin, Jason has a story. Jason got a new roommate. Why don't you tell the story?
Yeah, my roommate is 30 years old. He's never seen a Star Wars movie ever.
Ooh.
So, yeah. So
my brother was like,
my
whoa, sit the fuck down.
How old?
30. He just turned 30 last week.
I thought you said 9.
No.
So he's a millennial.
He's a millennial. That's a millennial, right?
Yeah.
So I sat him down and I said, okay, we're going to watch A New Hope. All right. And it's just mind-boggling sitting next to somebody who's never seen a Star Wars movie, especially A New Hope. So he watched it and he was like, wow, this is amazing. This is 10 times better than I thought it was going to be. I love I love the natural effects, the non-CGI effects.
Mm-hmm.
Really got into the whole narrative. Loved the mythology. Can't wait to see Empire. So it still works its magic 40, 45 years later.
Yeah.
But they're not grabbing them with the new stuff. I mean, you've seen the toys. The toys don't sell. The park has been much maligned as a disaster because it's all new Star Wars. Nobody wants that. So Boyega comes out with his piece, and then earlier this week we had, this is great. You guys hear Daisy Ridley?
No, I didn't hear her side. I only heard his.
I clipped it out for you. I'll play it now. You're going to love this.
Have you been keeping Rey's secret from the beginning? Did you know about the parentage? Like, tell me about that journey of when you found out.
No. At the beginning, there was toying with like an Obi-Wan connection, and then it really went, there were like different versions, and then it really went to that she was no one. And then it came to episode 9, and JJ pitched me the film and was like, oh yeah, Palpatine's granddaddy. And I was like, awesome. And then 2 weeks later, he was like, oh, we're not sure. So it kept changing. So then even I was filming and I wasn't sure what the answer was going to be.
Until the very end. So at one point, Obi-Wan was in there. Well, who else? Was Olaf amongst the possible parents, or?
I think Olaf was, yeah. Just a galaxy far, far away. He was in a different, it was a darker time.
You know, I got to ask you one final question, Days. Hypothetically, one day, 10 years from now, they come back to you and they say, Hey, Dicey, we would love for you to come back and reprise Rey in a new series of Star Wars films. Do you think you would do it?
I mean, the world is a crazy place right now. 10 years seems an awfully long way away. I'd say never, but to me, Rise of Skywalker was tied up with a bow.
I love you so much. I cannot thank you enough for joining me. I hope that we get to see your story continue 10 years from now and that you won't be selfish. Starting Thursday, you can listen to Daisy voice the new Audible drama, Islanders.
So there you have it.
They had no idea what they were doing. Absolutely no planning.
No plan. She just completely threw Kathleen Kennedy, Jar Jar Abrams, Ryan Johnson, and everyone else involved under the proverbial bus wheels. And again, confirmed everything the fandom has been saying for the last several years. But of course,
they basically took
we're a bunch of crybabies.
They took the fandom and the legacy of these movies for granted, and they abused them. They raped them.
But this is
terrible.
But any person who's a Star Wars fan who watched the movies would know that they didn't have a certain direction because the movies fell apart. They didn't tie together well. You know, if you watch the first movie, the second movie, and the third, they all seem like separate friggin' movies.
That's the point.
There's no tied in. So how do you not know? But now it's all coming to fruition that it happened.
Right. During this time, any of us that went on social media and complained,
right,
called. Man, remember when we did the podcast earlier in the year, Jude, where I went through all those articles where the guy had the Last Jedi's not canon shirt, and the other guy had the release the Snyder cut. It was on a Harley Quinn cartoon, and they were bashing the fandom on that.
Right.
They've called us, you know, all kinds of names for the last 3 years for saying this stuff, and now the actual two main characters, 2 of the 3 in the films, have just dogpiled all over this in the last week. Boyega was September 2nd. That was September 8th.
Yeah, you know,
dogpiled on Disney.
And you know, it's kind of funny. I feel like they hire these people who are like salesmen that don't know the product, and they're selling it to people who have been buying the product for 25, 30 fucking years. And you can't do that.
That's
because you can't bullshit people who have been using the product or watching the product, watching for 20 fucking years, 25 years. You can't do it.
I don't know about Jason's Star Wars fandom, but Jude, I've known you for 20-something years now, and you have always been a huge Star Wars fan. I remember when you had the Darth Vader shower head. And
I keep Star Wars shit around my desk. Look, I got fucking...
There you go. And when you say to me, I don't give a crap, it's dead, that tells you how bad it is. When I was like, oh, did you see Rise of Skywalker? And you're like, I don't give a shit, it's dead.
You know what I always thought? I always thought to myself, since I do this for a living, you know, video work, that I could actually take the 3 movies and actually do my own cut and actually try to make fucking sense of it.
You can't.
Release it. And then actually have people say, holy crap, at least we have something. Because through all this fucking jumbled fucking nightmare mess, there's got to be some way to make sense of it by cutting it together, even if it's 5 minutes long.
Yeah, you cannot. First, you have JJ does the first one, which is basically a reboot, a soft reboot.
Which is not the worst. I actually, when I went to go see it in the theater, I actually did enjoy it.
Because it was A New Hope.
Right. It was A New Hope, and it was safe. It was he played it very
safe cut and paste job. That's what it was.
That's right.
But he left killing Han Solo and making him a deadbeat dad was awful.
Right, but that's what.
And worse, that he didn't know how to run the Millennium Falcon.
Right, but Harrison Ford wouldn't have signed up. In fact, I think in an interview he said, "If you don't kill me, then I'm not going to be part of this movie."
He wanted out in Empire.
Right, he wanted out in Empire.
Yeah,
he didn't want to come back to Jabba's palace. He actually just wanted to be carbon frozen, and then that was it.
He wanted to be killed, and I think they, you know, when it's clear that he's the star of the show, even though the stories about Luke and Vader's redemption, Han Solo was the one putting the butts in the seats. My mother loved him just because Harrison Ford is so good looking.
And I think it was brilliant of them. And I know in the new edition of New Hope, they shouldn't have fucking did this. But you didn't know what Jabba looked like. You heard his name throughout the 2 movies, and then they tied it in the 3rd movie by having Jabba. What's that?
That's George. He's
Right.
never satisfied, and
but that was brilliant to bring Han Solo as a decor in Jabba's palace, and then of course the whole thing transpires. But that was brilliant. I mean, whoever thought of that idea? Okay, well, Han Solo might be dead in the 2nd film, and now we bring him back through Jabba's palace, and it ties in that whole entire thing. And then they completely fucked it up by putting that whole deleted scene in the New Hope, where after Greedo gets killed, Han Solo meets up with Jabba the Hutt.
And Jabba says the exact same dialogue that Greedo just did.
Well, that was funny because when my roommate was watching it, he noticed that something was off. He was like, "Wait a second, this doesn't sound."
Special effects were fucking terrible.
Oh, that shit. Yeah, he said it feels like this was added in later, and I'm like, "You're absolutely right. You caught it." I was wondering if you're going to catch it or not.
You know,
knowing what Jabba doesn't look like until the beginning of the 3rd movie was brilliant, because the people I remember actually, I think, growing up and watching it, we were always like, what the hell does Jabba look like? Who is this Jabba character? And then you find out he's a big space slug. And that was fucking amazing. That made it even better.
Well, for me, it made it worse because I was like, how is this guy he can't move? Why?
Oh, come on.
He gets killed by a 100-pound woman. I mean, how can anybody be afraid of that? So,
he's basically the Kingpin in Marvel.
Right. He's cool looking, but the Kingpin can at least go out and crush people's heads. He can't move. Like, that's just fucking dumb.
I always thought about that in Daredevil. I was like,
they should have made him the Rancor.
How the fuck does Kingpin move around?
That's Jabba should have been the talking Rancor. Then, okay, now I know why he's so scary. But anyway,
I watched that short you sent me of the.
Isn't it great? Isn't it great?
Yeah, it was funny because then it took me a second to realize, wait, that's the Rancor fucking keeper.
That the guy who did it, I heard him on a podcast called Rebel and the Rogue, and he works for Lucasfilm or something like that. He works in visual effects. So him and all his buddies got together and made this over the course of like 2 years. It's his son. And he said the hard part was his son aged, I think he was like 6 1 year and 7 the next, and from 6 to 7 is a quantum leap. So he's trying to make the kid look consistent. But he said ever since he saw Return of the Jedi, when the Rancor Keeper comes in and he's crying, he was like, that affected him. When he was a little boy, he's like, that affected me because that's like killing his dog, right? Luke just killed the guy's dog. And he's like, I always wondered, like, how did that relationship happen? How did this guy end up with a Rancor as a pet?
We should post the link in the chat.
You know what? I'll find it real quick.
Yeah,
so they made a short out of it. They made a short movie out of it.
How the kid finds the Rancor, and then how the whole, what's that guy's name? Bib Tuna.
Bib Fortuna.
Bib Fortuna. He finds the kid, and
yeah, and I've been meaning. I heard that podcast like 4 or 5 months ago, and I've been meaning to watch it, and for whatever reason, it popped into my head the other day, so I went looking for it.
This is like Troops, a fan made.
Troops was supposed to be funny, but this is supposed to be play into like canon of the Rancor Keeper and how he came about.
Right.
Troops was canon. What are you talking about? Troops is completely canon.
That's fucking that still is brilliant, and that came out in like 2000, and I think it even came out in 1998, 99.
Yeah.
Let's go find the nephew, Duke.
So I just picked up what is it?
I put it in the chat. I'll put it in the private chat for you guys.
I just picked up General Veers at Walgreens. He was the guy in the edit. Yeah.
General Veers, prepare your men.
Yeah. Got him for $7.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna watch this afterwards.
Yeah, it's really well done. It's got the Mando feel to it because they're real.
Photorealistic.
Helmet comes off too. Nice.
His armor comes off, and then he's got his cap. You could put on his cap.
Oh, nice. The soft one, the officer's cap there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can make him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The only Star Wars toys people want are the old Star Wars toys.
Of course, they're the best.
And I feel bad. I feel bad for the actors that were in the new one. I do. They completely got shafted.
He was the only one that didn't get choked out by Vader.
So it's going to be interesting. Kathleen Kennedy's contract's up at the end of the year, I believe, and I think she'll be shown the door.
Well, Lucas, I guess the word around the campfire is that Lucas is going to do this kind of alternate universe thing, and I think there's it's going to play around Palpatine having, I guess, created many dimensions and many doorways that you can go through.
Yeah, that's what Doomcock's been reporting, but
right.
Doomcock's source is inside Lucasfilm, but none of that's happened yet. So, I mean,
it's all speculation at this point.
At the end of the second new movie, what I you know what's really sad is I forget the names of these. Rise of Skywalker. And what was it?
I keep calling the Last Jedi the last movie because it's the last.
I know, I keep getting confused.
Yeah.
Anyway, at the end of the second film, they showed a little kid sweeping, and then I think he actually took the broom, and the broom flew over into his hand. So I think they were possibly thinking about continuing it off with another kid or whatever, but I don't think it's the direction they're going to head in now.
That's because that was the movie where they said, well, Rey, you're nobody.
Right.
You're like nobody. Like, so like anybody can be special like Rey. I guess it was the participation trophy equivalent of in Star Wars. But I did hear that, and I don't know if it's again, rumor and take it with a grain of salt, but I did hear that in the sets of when Rey goes into the ruins of the Death Star in the last movie, that there's broken mirrors in the throne room there. And apparently this parallel dimension hopping that you would use, if Pete was here, he would know what it's called. I forgot. It was in the cartoons. I guess they put those in there without JJ knowing that. So they could always say, oh, well, this is how Palpatine, and that's all fake, and it's an alternate reality because they went through these mirrors and blah, 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 whatever. That's again, rumor, hearsay. It's stuff I hear on Doomcock's channel. We'll see.
I think what they're going to do is they're going to go to the Star Wars, the trilogy that came after the original movies, heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, and The Last Command. And I think those books actually, a lot of people like those, and it would be interesting to see if they actually played off of those.
Well, if they were smart, they would give Jon Favreau the keys.
But then, they had to recast Luke, and they have to recast all the main characters again, though.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah. I think they're going to move on.
Those books sold well, and I actually have them.
They were great. I had so many problems with the sequel trilogy, starting right from the beginning. Like, how did the new Empire get financed like this? How did this happen? Like, they don't even explain it. It's just you're just there. It's just there. Just deal with it. They're back in power. Just deal with it. Nothing made sense. It's like, why would anybody listen to anything now? General Leia or whatever she's called. Why would anybody listen to her? Because clearly, her leadership got them back in the soup. Now all of a sudden, now they're running again. They don't have any people. They're the resistance. The Empire's huge again. Like, she gave birth to the new Darth Vader, for fuck's sake. I don't know. I think they should have picked up somewhere between Jedi in whatever time frame they set this one in 30 years later or whatever. With just new characters, you didn't need to.
Yeah.
And just the fact that they wouldn't you got Hamill, you got Carrie Fisher, and you got Harrison Ford back together again for the first time in 3 decades, and they don't put them back together on screen.
I know.
I think what they need to do is they need to stray away from the soap opera. They need to stray away from the Star Wars soap opera, go to a different part of the galaxy, and create new, interesting characters.
It always bothered me as a kid, even when I was like in teenage years, that you've got this huge galaxy, right? This enormous galaxy.
And everything's connected.
All these different alien races, but everything's tied to this one family. Like, it's like Durham. It's like Space Durham. Like, what's going on here? It's like, a little godfathery,
but I keep thinking, and maybe this goes along the same spectrum as Star Trek as well. Maybe they got to stop beating a fucking dead horse and try to do something completely off the cuff. I mean, Deep Space Nine, I think, was the first time you saw a Star Trek show that was completely different, away from the Enterprises, away from exploring space. It was a space hub or a space station, a trading route where everybody stopped, and that made things completely different and interesting.
They were protecting the wormhole. They're
Right.
protecting the Alpha Quadrant.
Well, it was also a major hub for trading, right? All the people would come in.
Yeah, Quark and
Right.
But the talent writing that show was second to none, and not only that, they completely understood what Star Trek was. They were all groomed by Michael Piller, coming up through the next generation. So you had Ira Stephen Bear, you had Ronald D. Moore, Renee Echeverria. The list goes on. There's handfuls of them. Those guys are all gone. They're not on Star Trek anymore. They're on. Ronald D. Moore went on and did the Battlestar reboot, and he's doing something on the Apple channel right now.
But it made good writing. It opened the door for good writing.
The writing staff on Star Trek right now is abysmal. Right. And if Emma Watts truly wants to start Star Trek over again, and she wants to save it, because it might be the last chance they have to save it, she's got to get those people back. You got to go get Ronald D. Moore, go get Ira Bear, get them back in there. Get people in there who love Star Trek and who know what Star Trek is. And that's why Deep Space Nine worked. They could have done anything because they had the talent to invent something new. These people don't. It's like I said, weeks back, where I was like, they put Discovery between Enterprise and the original series because they knew that they're incompetent. And when they got stuck, all they had to do was fly the Enterprise in with Pike and Spock on it.
Right.
Saved by our previous KO. We're saved. We can just lean on this as a crutch. Instead of setting it like 50 years or 100 years past next gen and doing something completely fresh and new, they didn't do that. And they shoved it right in there. And it's stupid because the way everything works, they have holographic communicators and everything looks so much better. You're telling me that they're going to go from that to Captain Kirk?
Yeah. Did they recast Pike and Spock in Discovery?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and again, it's because the current deal, they have to alter everything by 25%. So
why not just not use them? Just don't use them.
Because they don't have the ability to not use them. They have to rely on member berries. If they don't, member berries are such a crutch for this Star Trek. Look at the shows they put out. They put out Discovery, and they said there would be no Enterprise, no Kirk, no Spock, none of that in season 1. And then before the season 1 was dying, the last 2 episodes were rewritten. They fly in the Enterprise. Season 2 is loaded with Pike and Spock. And now they're into season 3, where suddenly now they're launched way into the future where they belong to begin with. And then Picard relied heavily on Next Generation member berries and Voyager member berries. And now you have the stupid cartoon where they make really bad Big Bang Theory level references to stuff. Hey, you remember Khan? You guys heard of Khan, right?
They do a lot. They do a lot of that on a Lower Deck.
They are creatively bankrupt, and they have no idea what they're doing.
The last episode I watched, they're all in their little quarters, and they're talking about what each ship sounded like, and they're humming it. They're going, and this in the USS Enterprise, this model sounded like, and they all start humming at the same time. And
they do the original one, the beep 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 beep. The original.
I don't know. They always play reference to all the other Star Trek shows.
Has the episode aired yet where the main character there, what's her name, Mariner, Maki Spock, where she says, I had a dream about the speech Khan gave to Kirk about being buried alive in the center of a dead planet. Has that been on yet?
Yeah, I think it was like the second or third.
Why would she know that?
They always do.
Why would she know that?
They just...
Khan said that to Kirk on a communicator. The only people who heard that were the people on the ship with Khan, who are all dead now. They're dead hours later. The people standing next to Kirk down on the... Nobody else heard that. Why the fuck would she know that? Nobody would know that.
It's kind of reminiscent of watching Family Guy. And if you weren't part of that generation, you know how in Family Guy, they say things that only a certain generation would
understand Star Trek.
That's right. But that's what they do. They inject it, and they inject it really fast. And it if you're a person of a certain age, you probably just ignore it. You're like, oh, okay. But they purposely inject that in for a moment, so people of your generation will be like, oh yeah,
it's member berries. But
Family Guy does it all the time. There's
Family Guys. You got Stewie and Brian, and they make they'll say the same thing about Khan and Kirk, right? But that's funny because they're regular people. They're not Star Trek characters. Why would
I get it.
Starfleet ship know what Khan said to Kirk on a communicator 100 years earlier that only 4 people fucking heard?
Right. But where I'm going with it is they purposely do it so that you would like a member berry. You would say, oh, okay. And
because it's lazy. Because they can't fucking write. Because they don't do any research. They don't watch Star Trek. So they get things like that. Oh, let's just use the Khan line. They watched Wrath of Khan. That's their knowledge of Star Trek.
No.
They watched the Next Gen movies. That's their knowledge of Next Gen. Like that. That's it. They've watched a handful of things. I guarantee it. They don't know anything about Star Trek. These people.
I'm on episode 5 now, which is the recent one,
and they don't care to because Alex Kurtzman said Star Trek's not about Star Trek anymore. It's about pushing my platform.
So he really said that, huh? I mean, he's quoted it, saying that.
He did. In fact, I should have pulled that sound clip.
That is amazing. Why would you say something like that?
He said it's not about Star Trek anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Amazing.
Yep.
To be that brazen about it.
Well, they think they know best, and they think that whatever they tell us to do, we're going to do. They're going to tell us how to think. They're going to tell us what to watch, and they're going to tell us.
People will just stop watching. People will just stop consuming it.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at the sports ratings right now. Look at the NFL, the NBA, all these sports are down.
Well, I mean, this is
food in Kansas City last night.
Right, but this is the pinnacle, I think. We all get to a certain point where things are not working out, and they have to go to some level and just go, and then they have to come back to, and they have to rejuvenate. They have to bring something back to life, was what I'm trying to say. And I mean, they're going to do it with the Star Wars franchise, they're going to do it with the Star Trek franchise, or they're going to do it with sports. Something has to happen. There's money to be made, and if there's money to be made, trust me, they're going to spend.
November 3rd has to happen. This has to.
Well, yeah, that too. But what I'm trying to say is, there's money. They wouldn't just get rid of Star Trek. They wouldn't just get rid of Star Wars because they know that there's too much money tied up in this, and there's too many people invested in this.
They're not going to have a choice pretty soon because nobody's investing in Star Trek. They can't get funny. They're never going to make that.
I don't know. I mean, they still have their fans. So you go on YouTube, and there's still people.
I just showed you the numbers.
Videos.
I just showed you the numbers.
1,000. Right.
Shoot, I will probably see it. I will probably never watch another Star Wars movie in the future again. I've just checked out. And there's plenty of fans in our age group that just checked out.
There's still people that are going to watch The Mandalorian.
Oh, sure. Yeah, but as long as they have the current sensibilities that they are, the way they produce movies now, I won't go to see them. You know, the best protest you can do.
I don't think we're at an era right now where it even matters to release a film. We don't need to see a full feature film. I would watch a Star Wars show. I don't need to see something that's a blockbuster film in the movie theater that they're spending millions and billions of dollars on to produce. Fuck it. Do something small. It works. Who cares?
That's the direction I think that Disney should go. Disney should produce shows like The Mandalorian that explore pockets of the Star Wars universe. I think that's a lot more compelling than what they're doing.
And it's more viewership, and it probably makes more money. I mean, shit, they release toys on The Mandalorian. You know, so fucking people are going to buy it.
Well, it's not only about the money. It's about the storytelling. The storytelling of The Mandalorian is superior, far superior to the movies.
Right.
So I think they're starting to get that hint. They have to put more people in charge that love and honor the mythos.
That's
like
why the Snyder Cut has to be a success,
right?
Because if the Snyder Cut is a success, it's a win for the fans. It reinforces stuff that like John Boyega, Daisy Ridley are putting out that we've been saying for years, and then the studios will take notice. The fans told us this, and it was a huge hit. And it kind of goes back to Ryan Reynolds with the Deadpool thing.
Yeah, but these things aren't big budget stuff either. I mean, you don't need to make a fucking movie based on this. You can do shows and get away with it.
Yeah, well, they want to make billions of dollars.
They want to make
Yeah, but it doesn't make a difference. How can the Mandalorian, what's the budget you think of the whole season of Mandalorian compared to a Star Wars movie?
Did you see the numbers for the subscriptions on Disney Plus?
There was shit.
50 million. That's it. They're not making any money off Mandalorian. 50 million subscribing to Disney Plus. That's shit.
Yeah, but everybody wants to see it.
That's a quarter. Yeah, but it's a quarter of a Marvel movie's budget. They're not making $50 million. That's not. They need to make billions. They need to put out a blockbuster movie and sell it in China and sell it all over the world and bank $1 billion plus $2 billion. That's the business model for Star Wars. Not putting a streaming show on a streaming channel that has $50 million attached to it.
You're right. When it comes to the business model,
that's sustainable.
You're right.
That's not sustainable. That's great and all, but
so you keep releasing shit content or shit movies to make up the costs of a franchise. Make money off a franchise.
The Force Awakens made like $2 billion worldwide, and by the third movie, Rise of Skywalker, it made $1 billion. They lost half their audience in 5 years. In 3 movies. Yeah, it definitely needs to be retooled. That's why you give the keys to Feige, you give the keys to Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, or let Lucas come back in, and he doesn't have to be active daily, but as long as he's, according to sources too, he gave them like a draft at the very beginning when they first bought it. He said, "Here's what I'd like to see happen in the next 3 movies," and they threw it in the freaking garbage. They threw it away. They threw it away. They made these 3 horrible movies, and then have Kathleen Kennedy out there saying, "No, there was no source material."
Balls.
Yeah. Speaking of balls, that's a perfect segue.
Yeah, we're on the 2:17. Yeah, we're on 2 hours and 17 minutes. Let's go on to the next.
We had a lot of stuff today. Have you seen this one? This is a little old. It's been going on for a couple months now.
Yeah.
So it started here.
I read this.
Oh my God. What? I didn't read this.
Yeah, I have these tabbed out. So
Jesus Christ.
So back in July, I'll summarize. We'll just blow through this. Ray Fisher accused Joss Whedon of verbal abuse. Joss's on-set treatment of the cast and crew of Justice League was gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable. Okay, but never gave a detail. And oh, by the way, didn't confront Josh or or go to a media outlet. He just put it on Twitter. He threw it on Twitter, which every man, manly man does, right? You go to Twitter. So let me get to the second one now, because this is a little soap opera. This is great. I wish Pete was here. I don't know where the hell he is.
Has Whedon responded to this?
No. Smartly.
Yeah.
So then the next day, Alan Tudyk, is that how you say his name? Tudyk? Tudyk?
Yeah, Tudyk.
He's funny. I like him. Comes to the defense of Joss Whedon as support for Ray Fisher moms. So, Ray got the Twitter mob on his side. That's why you go to Twitter. Oh, I'm a victim. Boo-hoo. I got treated poorly by this pompous white director. Now, don't get me wrong. I've heard many a story that Joss Whedon's a tool, but that's beside the fact. I mean, the guy got in Hollywood because of nepotism. So that happened. So now we have Alan Tudyk, however you say his name, come to his rescue, and then the saga continues. So since he couldn't get a rise out of Joss Whedon, he goes and throws Jeff Johns under the bus. And this is a month later. So now he claims that Jeff Johns threatened his career. So let's just take a step aside for a minute and examine, if we will. Let me just go to his page here. It would really help if we have a background on Mr. Fisher. Be fair, right? So he's out there throwing hand grenades at everybody. let's just see what's going on here. So Ray Fisher. Here's his credits. This is it. Theater Talk as a guest. Short documentary about the Justice League. Couple more, where he's being at least self. So these are all like being interviewed, right? Here's his acting credits. The Good, the Bad, and the Confused short film. The Astronaut's Wives Club TV series. 1 episode. Then he did BVS, Dawn of Justice, and then Justice League. And then he did True Detective, and now he's in the new Justice League, the Snyder Cut, which they're calling a mini series because it's 4 hours long. So basically, he's been in 2 feature films. 2. And the first one was Batman versus Superman, and the second one is Justice League. 2. So he's got zero experience in Hollywood. 0 experience on $200 million films. And Justice League, as we know, was plagued with problems. It's a $200 million film that they had to switch directors in the middle of and reshoot almost half the movie and completely change everything. It went from being 2 movies into 1 movie, and that's the disaster we got. So now he's out there lobbing hand grenades at Jeff Johns, saying he threatened his career. Still providing no detail and doing all of this on Twitter, oh, by the way. So this gets better, man. It's just...
What a shit show.
Yeah, this is a story that just won't stop. So I have
But he offers no detail at all. He doesn't,
none. So finally, Warner decides, fine, we're gonna open an investigation. We're gonna get to the bottom of this and figure out exactly what happened. So Variety reports an investigation has been launched into the repeated public statements made by Fisher that allege misconduct and unprofessional treatment by Whedon, Johns, and producer John Berg. So there are no findings and no specific timeline. So they're, and then Fisher said the investigation is independent and third party. This is a massive step forward. And then apparently he refused to cooperate. So let me get to that. Number 5. There's 6 articles here.
What did they? Are you gonna get offended because they asked him to do a second take or something? I mean, that's
my theory.
Ridiculous.
So this gets better. Cyborg actor.
Provide some more evidence, or your claims are,
right.
Yeah.
This week, Warner Brothers finally issued a response to cyborg actor Ray Fisher's claims of gross mistreatment, which was enabled by aforementioned people. In a lengthy statement issued on September 5th, a Warner Brothers spokesman noted that initially Fisher's representatives asked DC film President Walter Hamada to talk to Mr. Fisher about concerns during his production of Justice League, as the two had previously spoken when Mr. Hamada asked him to reprise his role in Cyborg in Warner Brothers' upcoming Flash movie, together with all the other members of the Justice League. Warner Brothers alleges that in July, a conversation Mr. Fisher recounted disagreements he'd had with the film's creative team, blah, blah, blah. In a statement address, Fisher had received a phone call from the president of DC Films wherein he attempted to throw Whedon and Berg under the bus. And let's see. So, notably, Mr. Hamada told Mr. Fisher that he would elevate his concerns to Warner Media so that they would conduct an investigation. Warner Brothers countered, at no time did Mr. Hamada ever throw Andy under the bus, as Mr. Fisher has falsely claimed, or rendered any judgment about the Justice League production in which Mr. Hamada had no involvement since filming occurred before Hamada was elevated to his current position. Mr. Fisher never alleged any accountable misconduct against him. What happened there? Anyway, they found nothing, and then he claims that Warner Brothers' statement is a desperate and scattershot attempt to discredit me to continue protecting those in power. Yeah. So,
I mean, it sounds like an us versus them kind of argument, but
well, definitely a he said, she said.
I mean, it could have been petty. It could have been something that was a misunderstanding.
Yeah. how extreme is this? I mean, was he verbally assaulted? Was he physically assaulted?
Here's the key.
Was he?
He wants changes made to the Flash script, right? This is 2 days ago. The theory is that he was making all kinds of script change requests, and it's probably in one of these articles that I've just blown through because there's just so much.
I never understood that whole thing with actors. If you're an actor and you're hired to do a job, do your fucking job. You're not there to write a story. And I hear this throughout all Hollywood. And in fact, I heard some directors actually overcome, or they actually agree, or they say, oh yeah, okay, well, yeah, you're right. And I mean, do you need to be soft on these people? They're actors. You're getting hired to do a fucking job.
There's a movie
I agree.
You watched it here recently, Jude, called State and Maine. It's a David Mamet film, and there's scenes in there where the actors are always trying to change their dialogue.
Right.
In the
That's
script.
right, with Michael Baldwin and
Alec Baldwin, and I put
Alec Baldwin, right?
I put the commentary track on, and they were all laughing. Bill Macy and all of them were laughing on the commentary track because they said the poor director, that is the worst thing they have to deal with all the time, is the actors think they know better.
Yeah.
And want to change everything all the time. And you've got to kind of play the political game with it and kind of give in here and there, but still keep your ground. And Alfred Hitchcock used to say, no actor is going to tell me what to do in my movie. They're cattle.
Good.
They're cattle. So,
yeah, I mean,
respect the artist, but
there could be a mutual respect. Yeah, I mean, the director should have the right to say to the actor, "Listen, I wrote it this way. I want it this way. This is my vision,
right?
And you're here to help me with this vision."
Right. Now, in the case of Fisher, who's got, let's go back to his IMDb page, 0 experience, 0. He's got as much experience as you or I would have walking onto BBS for the first time, right? And now he's making script demands. He's whining about his character. Now,
right.
Zack Snyder has mentioned over and over that in his version of the Justice League, Cyborg was the focal point of the whole story. He was the pivot point. And then that got changed when it became Joss Whedon's film and they trimmed it way down. And I think that was the first thing that chapped his ass. But I'm guessing that a guy with 0 experience on a $200 million movie set that just had to replace the director and do massive reshoots was a constant pain in the ass daily, walking up to Whedon and saying, I think it should be this. And why did you cut this line? And in the other script, it said this. And I think at some point, Whedon lost his shit.
Well, you know what's really funny?
There's a lot of pressure. Right. There's a lot of suits standing around, suits and ties.
Right.
Come on, the meter's running here. And I think Whedon told him off. And then he ran to Jeff Johns about it. And then Jeff Johns just politely said, go back to the set, do what you're told, or you're never going to work in this town again. I think he gave him some free advice. And
it's really kind of funny. There's this great documentary on The Shining, and it's on YouTube, and I can look for it, where it's basically Stanley Kubrick dealing with Shelley Duvall.
Oh, he hated her.
And Shelley Duvall didn't want. She had always had a problem. And Stanley Kubrick, they actually have. They showed in the documentary. He's actually telling her, he's like, "I'm sick of your shit. I just need you to fucking do this."
She wasn't asking for script changes. She was just whining and complaining about everything.
Right. But what I'm trying to say is that Kubrick did not take any of her shit. He's like, listen, this is what I fucking want. Fucking give it to me or get the fuck off.
He didn't take shit from anybody. He
did not take shit.
He made people do 30, 40 takes of things. And
that's right.
Yeah.
In fact, in The Shining, he would do script changes the day of the shoot. They would get different colored copies of the script, and they'd be reading like script yellow, and then he'd come with green the day of and go, "Here's the new script." They'd be like, "What the fuck?" All new lines.
Well, and clearly that's what was happening here with Justice League. I mean, this thing was a shit show, and you've got a rookie actor. He's a rookie actor in a giant blockbuster tentpole movie. And he's whining about the script, and he's whining about his role, and he's whining about. Clearly, he's a. I mean, how old is the guy?
He's green. Yeah, he's very green.
He came from the participation trophy generation. I'm special, and you have to hear me. Where's my trophy? And the guy needs to shut up. The guy needs to shut up, or he's never going to work again.
And I think this is, I mean, I hate to say this and I don't want to sound like I'm aging myself, but maybe it's a generational thing. Maybe
clearly.
Maybe they feel entitled that, you know, if I don't feel like my character's getting the justice I think they deserve, or they're not getting as much exposure to the story, I need to get more. I mean, it's basically like a musician. All right, if you're in a band, that you're always, and I've seen this time after time. If you're the guitar player, you turn your volume up. The bass player turns his volume up. And then the singer wants his vocals louder, and everybody's turning up all their fucking levels, and all of a sudden everybody's too loud.
Right. Well, you know, you haven't heard anything from Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck, Jason Momoa, Henry Cavill. Nobody else has said that Joss Whedon was unprofessional.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the conversation he had with Jeff Johns was between him and Jeff Johns. But he's saying that Joss Whedon was abusive on set. And Alan Tudyk came out and defended Joss Whedon. So I think what happened was, let's face it, he got the script for the Zack Snyder version of this movie. He was all excited because his second feature film, and he's the focal point of the whole story. And then the shit went sideways, and his character got cut. His stuff got cut way down, and he didn't like that. His ass got chapped and became a victim. He played the victim. And instead of, you know, he's not helping his cause by not shutting up. I can't believe this first article came out July 1st, and here we are September 11th, which we should do.
Well, I hate to say this, but who was Ray Fisher really before Justice League?
Look at his IMDb. Nothing. Until he did Batman, he did nothing. He did a short film and a TV appearance. That's it. That's it.
And I didn't see the movie, so I don't even know how his acting was. I mean,
standard.
He plays a cyborg. Does he really put much character into a cyborg?
Very standard and wooden. Very wooden.
Standard.
It was, yeah. I mean, he didn't have a very focal character arc, but I mean, he had a chance to do his scenes and shine, but nobody really shined in that movie. So
no.
it was,
Gal Gadot and Ben Affleck carried the.
Well, I think they just put that movie together because they could. I don't think they actually thought about doing something that was epic. It was like, oh, now we have all these characters. Let's throw them in a movie.
No, they did. They panicked after BVS tanked. BVS went in the toilet and made like $300 million, which is not good.
Yeah, but if Justice League didn't come out, would anybody care? That's what my question is.
No, but what the point was is they panicked and they decided to change the tone of the movie. And Zack Snyder's daughter had died, and they kind of used. I think they forced him. He said he resigned, but I think they forced him out.
But out of us three, was anybody expecting a Justice League movie? Did anybody really care?
I was expecting it. You saw it coming. You knew they were chasing Marvel.
But were you excited for it? Did you just say, "Oh, I can't wait," or you just didn't give a shit?
I was. I love the characters. I'd love to see that.
Because I wasn't excited about it at all. I didn't care. I was like, okay, like it wasn't like a Marvel. It wasn't like an Avengers movie.
Well, no, I mean once they got rid of Snyder and they brought in Whedon, and it was cut from 2 movies to 1, and they were changing the whole tone with reshoots. And you were reading about the digital Henry Cavill's mouth is digital because he had a mustache for Mission Impossible, and it was a shit show. And I knew it was a shit show at that point. I still watched it, but I actually was watching a little bit of it today before we did this, just to kind of refamiliarize myself. And it's kind of ironic that Ray Fisher's first scene, he's whining and moping.
Yeah. So he's always in character, is what you're trying to say.
So let's just cover this real quick before we sign off. I'm sure everybody saw this.
I didn't see it. No, the Oscars. I didn't see the changes.
Starting in 2024, you have to hit check boxes, corporate check boxes, if you want to win Best Picture. You have to diversify your movie. So now we have full Marxism going on here. You are now being told
Marxism.
You are being told how to do your art. Hashtag Oscars so white. So let's see what they say here. That's where the rules here. The first criteria requires.
What's the first?
First criteria requires the movie to feature either a prominent actor from an underrepresented group, 30% of its smaller roles for minorities, or to address issues surrounding these communities as its main theme. So I'm telling you what the story's about. Oh, here's the close. Get that damn thing out of here. Why these pop-ups on this thing? The second stipulates that behind the scenes senior leadership or technical crew members must be drawn from historically disadvantaged groups, which also include women, the alphabet community, and disabled communities. The final two measures concern offering internships and training to underrepresented workers and diversity in the movie's marketing and distribution teams. So, you have to hit those marks now to be considered eligible to win an Oscar.
So you mean to tell me that a lot of YouTube videos are going to win Oscars over real movies?
This is draconian. It's draconian.
Yeah, but how is that? But my question is how does that play into what's out? I don't get it. How does that work?
Because it starts in 2024, Jude.
Oh,
whenever you have mandates of art,
okay,
you know, yeah. Whenever you have mandates of art like this, you know things are getting really, really bad.
This is really bad. This is really bad, and I think this is going to backfire spectacularly.
Of course, it's going to backfire. Someone's going to give the big middle finger. They're going to be like, "Fuck you."
Who gives a fuck about the Oscars anymore? Honestly,
yeah, no one cares. They're not. People aren't.
I would take it one step further. I would call it artistic Stalinism. I mean, this is dictatorship.
Really, right? But people don't adhere to that. You got to understand something. Being an artist is all about being a rebel. I'm sorry to say it. Being an artist is being rebellious.
Why are you sorry to say it?
Right?
Why are you sorry to say it?
No, don't be sorry, Jude.
Don't be
sorry. You're
sorry. Well, I'm not saying sorry to say it, but I'm saying sorry to this cause, this whole whole bullshit. Is that the first art piece? Okay, whoever I'm just saying in general. I'm just saying, art is always going against establishment. It wouldn't be art if it didn't go against the establishment. Not all art, but most of it.
I agree. And let's be clear. We're not against diversity and inclusion. We are not. But it's got to serve the story. You can't just, it goes back to the tokenism. You can't just throw things in there to check a box, like some affirmative action box.
It's always got to serve the story. First,
got to serve the story.
That's right. And unfortunately, not every story has a happy ending, and not every story has diversity. There's plenty of stories that you can come up with, fictional stories that don't have any of these elements in it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm trying to say. So, how does that play? At that point, it's being historical. So, what are you going to go against? You're going to say, well, we got to inject some kind of formula that meets this into something that's factually historical. Bull fucking shit. You can't do that. That's not how it works.
I'm glad you brought that up. Let's go to our second tab, shall we? This is so Business Insider.
You can't make Gandhi Chinese. Sorry. I know it sounds horrible. I don't know where I was going with that, but you know what I mean.
Actually, British actor played Gandhi.
Ben Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley.
I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is you can't change something to fit an ideal to appease everybody, and then mold it and you can't do it because then it turns into some type of and I hate to say this word because I shouldn't. It's too political. But then it changes to some weird ass propaganda bullshit.
It is propaganda. It's 100% propaganda. It's Marxist propaganda. We fought a war. I didn't mean to go on a rant. We fought a war against people in Germany for stuff like this.
Well, it's art. You can't fuck with art. Art has no boundaries. And that's the thing. If you could look at a painting from Leonardo da Vinci, you could look at a painting from Jackson Pollock. They're two different things. You can't.
I should have grabbed it. She took it down, but Kirstie Alley tweeted right after this, and she said exactly what you just said. She goes, "So you're telling me that Picasso people had to tell Picasso how to paint his fucking paintings?"
Yeah.
So
and people think some art is shit, and that's fine to somebody else. The person's right. It's all subjective. So you film is art. No matter how you look at it, it will always be art. Whether it's John Lennon filming his heart on, which he did, right? Is that true, brother? Is there actually a video out there of John Lennon shooting his heart on, or is that all?
I don't know if that's true. I mean,
Supposedly, there's a video out there of John Lennon. But besides the point, what I'm trying to say is that people do shit on film that to some people it's considered genius, and to other people it's whatever.
I'm with you. Anyway, yeah, we won't get into cuties. We'll do that next time. So the Business Insider did this great. Insider Australia. They've been taking some shots at America the last few days, the pop culture anyway. Did a little study of, let's look at recent top 25 modern Best Picture Oscar winners that don't meet the new requirements. Right?
Oh, wow. This would be fun.
This is exactly what you were saying, Jude. So here are, once again, before we go through this, let's revisit the Academy's new rules for getting your participation trophy from Hollywood. At least one of the lead actors or significant supporting actors from an underrepresented racial or ethnic group. 30% or more of the actors in minor roles are from 2 of the 4 underrepresented groups: women, racial, ethnic group, alphabet, people with cognitive or physical disabilities. Or the movie itself centers on women, alphabet, racial, ethnic, or people with disabilities. So, right? Spotlight 2016. Well, this fails because it features a prominently white cast. So that would no longer be Best Picture.
But here's the thing.
Argo. Here you go, Jude. This is that's a historical piece. That's based on a real story. Right? These are real fucking people who worked for the Boston Globe in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Right.
But do you understand? Here's the thing. The only people that give a shit about this are the people that write this shit. The people in the LGBT community, the people of a different ethnicity.
Wow.
I said that correctly. They don't give a shit.
Ethnicity.
Let's see the rest of the list.
I can't speak today.
I'm curious to find out what other movies.
Argo.
Which is great.
It did not have enough female actors in the cast to hit the 30% mark. Another true story.
Yeah.
The King's Speech, 2011.
Another great movie. Another great movie.
Yep. Historical drama, getting over to stammer, blah, blah, blah. There aren't any female roles and even fewer roles for POC.
Yeah, but that was a time period in a completely...
All of these are so far, Jude. These are all true stories.
These are all true stories.
You would have to gender swap or put POC.
But then it wouldn't be historically accurate. That's
you
the
want to
point.
win a trophy, don't you?
It doesn't matter. I'd fuck that. I'd rather tell the real story.
These are the rules now. But these are the rules now. So let's keep going on the list. The Departed.
Oh, wow. What's it say?
Predominantly male with little diversity. Of course.
But it was a gangster movie about Irish mafioso.
True story about, what's his name there? Whitey Bulger.
Whitey Bulger, yeah.
Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
Liz Tyler was in that, so...
Zero diversity. Zero diversity. Zero.
And most elves are asexual, by the way.
A Beautiful Mind, 2002. A moving story, but there is nowhere close enough female or people of color representation. American Beauty. Cast
What do you mean? The man at the end was homosexual. He was
he was white. See, well, you got to hit all of the check boxes, not one, not two, all the check boxes, right? So yeah, you had a closeted gay man, his neighbor there, Chris. What's his name? Chris Cooper. I love Chris Cooper's great.
He played such a great job.
What a great character actor. But they're all white people.
But they're all white. Yeah.
What's this one? Shakespeare in Love. No diversity. No on-screen diversity. Titanic, one of the most popular movies of all time, would not win because no diversity to be found.
It was 1912.
Another true story. Braveheart.
But here's a question. Are you gonna tell James Cameron that? He'll tell you go fuck yourself.
Oh, exactly. I think a lot of directors are going to tell the Academy where to shove this new rule. It's going to get repealed.
Here's the thing. People like James Cameron are the ones that run the show. You're not going to tell James Cameron, oh, well, guess what? Fuck that.
What if you went to Boys in the Hood? Who did that? Singer? And you told Singer, yeah, I know this movie takes place in the ghetto, but I want to see a bunch of white people on.
What about every Spike Lee film?
Right.
I mean, come on. I've seen plenty of Spike Lee films.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't represent actually the best for,
Well,
whatever. I'm just
right.
saying.
Well, here you go. Fighting Scotland. No people of color.
It's
Because
Scotland.
there was nobody there. It took place in what era?
The 1200s.
It's ridiculous.
Schindler's List.
Jesus
Fastest
Christ.
heavy man.
All right, let's just stop while you're ahead because this is just getting ridiculous.
So we got to keep going. Rain Man.
It was a story about two brothers.
No diversity.
But
Amadeus. Another true story.
Jesus Christ.
No diversity.
this is like 17th century.
Chariots of Fire. Lack of diversity. No female characters.
Yeah, but these are time periods. You got
Thank
to
you.
think about your time period.
But these now, with the new rules, are disqualified. That's the
Yeah.
point.
No, they're not. They can't be disqualified.
Well, they would be if they were made now.
Right. If they were made now, they can't be
They're pointing-
disqualified.
These are some of the most legendary films of all time.
They burned down the Hollywood sign if these
Would
were
not
disqualified.
even be considered now for Best Picture.
Someone would torch that shit. They'd fucking.
Kramer.
Not that California's not on fire to begin with. I'm just saying. Sorry, that was a bad joke.
Annie Hall. Well, it's Woody Allen. He's a perv. No diversity.
No diversity is Jewish characters. I mean,
Well, they're white.
diversity.
Yeah, people don't consider Jewish people. They're white.
I love
Godfather. Few roles for women and even fewer POC.
There's plenty of women in those movies.
Godfather. That was 2. Godfather 3.
Yeah,
Godfather.
but look at the year these movies came out: 1973, 1971, 1969.
It doesn't matter. This is the Italian mob. This is the Italian mob. How are you supposed to put POC in there?
Right.
And I'm sorry. What's her name from Rocky? Talia Shire has a great role in these movies.
Great role. That's what I meant. Yeah, Talia Shire was great in that.
Fantastic.
What's POC mean? I don't think I know that.
People of color.
Oh, okay. All right. People of color.
Patton. Again, a World War II movie. There's only one black person.
Hey, listen, Kubrick put a lot of diversity in his movies. Look at Full Metal Jacket, man.
Oliver.
And
British
look at The Shining.
no diversity.
Shining. I mean, you can't knock every movie that from that time period.
Man for All Seasons. No people of color. My Fair Lady. No diversity. Tom Jones. A lot of roles for women, but no people of color. And The Apartment. A lot of old white guys in suits. No POC.
Well, technically, the whole movie's in black and white.
And Ben-Hur. A Bible story. No diversity. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but I have one more anecdote I have to share while we're on this before we close this topic. So the same day Hollywood made the diversity rule for the Oscars, this dropped the same day. Hollywood is casting more light-skinned actors for major roles in blockbuster movies to appeal to a Chinese audience. I tweeted this out. I put Hollywood today and Oscars, diversity. Also Hollywood today, casting more light-skinned actors for more money, to make more money. The hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Hypocrisy.
The hypocrisy.
I'm a little bit insulted because I just saw Mulan and there was no white people in that movie. So I'm really fucking insulted. Okay, why wasn't one of those fucking samurai fucking white? I don't get it.
Well, that's having its own issues. I guess China banned it, right?
I wouldn't want white
They
people.
banned it because I heard it was fucking terrible. That's why. And the Disney movie is so much better. The cartoon.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to make a movie about like 17th century Japan, I don't want to see any white people in that movie. I want to see everybody. I want to be authentic.
You play the
Bruce Lee
story.
movies, you're not expecting white guys, right?
Well,
Yeah.
you play if you're doing something that's based historically, you're basing it on that time era, that time frame, or that's the era.
They don't.
And unfortunately, you can't just throw some random token person in there to fit the formula of whether or not you need to do something to get an award. It's bullshit.
They're already trying to get rid of.
You can't do that.
They want to rewrite history. It's bad.
It's basically like putting something into a recipe to make your food taste like shit, then to taste really good.
For me, it was comical in April and May when this started, this nonsense. But it's gotten to this level now where the Academy Awards is demanding that you make movies based on their criteria and their check boxes. It's scary.
I hate to say it, but I think there's only going to be more check boxes as we go further down the road.
Well, hopefully, with all these people fleeing Hollywood and whatnot, I think you're going to see Hollywood get broken apart. I think the whole thing's going to fall apart, and people are going to start setting up shop. They already look at Atlanta's a hotbed for production. I think you're going to see production pop up all over the United States. It won't be centralized in LA anymore, and the Academy can suck it. These short-sighted assholes, by the way, back in 2007, my friend Philip Hodgetts wrote a book called Television 3.0 or something like that. And he basically was talking about how he's talking about what it is now. Streaming channels, carte blanche programming, on demand, the whole thing, right? Make your own programming schedules.
Right.
And he went and pitched to the Academy and told them that they have to they should start thinking about this and change their ways and start thinking about internet television. He said, television 1.0 was original black and white tube TV. Television 2.0 was color television. Television 3.0 is internet television. Or cable, like color and cable was 2.0. And they laughed him out of the room. They laughed at him.
But the best TV.
Here we are. And how late everybody was to the streaming party after Netflix.
Right. But the most watched TV shows throughout TV history, The Honeymooners, okay? Archie Bunker, All in the Family, The Jeffersons, all these sitcoms back in the day appeal to just one type of race or whatever, but people love those shows. So why change that? It's the formulas worked before.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, that's my thoughts on it. Like, why would you change it?
I think it's going to get really dangerous once they have story mandates. Like, you need to tell these type of stories where these type of things happen.
Yeah, but why in the 70s wasn't it a problem and now it's a problem? That's my question.
Because they're saying we weren't woke back then. Now we're woke.
But people didn't have a problem back then. They weren't complaining back then. I mean, if you watch an episode of All in the Family right now, you would be like, "Holy shit!"
You also had what happened was you had Archie was a bigot. But Archie got his ass handed to him at the end of every episode. He got proven he was an asshole.
Right.
So that's why Ralph Cramden threatened to punch Alice in the face and screamed and yelled at her and threatened violence on her every second.
To the moon, Alice, to the moon.
But
you can't say that shit now.
But at the end of the day, at the end of the episode, he was proven the jackass. Right.
That's true.
Even now, they wouldn't tolerate that. You're right. They wouldn't even tolerate that.
Well, she used to forgive him after every episode, and I thought the forgiveness was too easily handed to him.
She showed him up though too. She made an ass of him.
She would.
Yeah, but these sitcoms are ingrained as they're a
product of their time. The Honeymooners was a product of its time too, and it's not would be completely correct. But
take any of those Norman Lear shows, like they were so groundbreaking. The Jeffersons. All in the Family, like he goes on everything he did, and it was all edgy, very topical.
Right, but even for the time, I mean, there was a lot of unrest and stuff in the country, but they still got away with it.
Yeah, I know.
And it wasn't. Here's the thing: even though Archie Bunker said the things he does, Archie Bunker as a character, even the actor knew he was an asshole, and he played that character as an asshole, right?
Of course. I mean, you couldn't even have anything like Married with Children now. You couldn't even have that. And I think that's because we've spent 20 years raising a group of people, a generation or two of people that think they're all special. They get trophies for getting out of bed in the morning. They're told that the world is all, perfect. That I saw it when I was in higher ed. And you were still there, Jude, I think, or you were at least around when we used to have an awards night, and then the head of the liberal arts department said we should stop doing that.
Well, I got my award upstairs.
I said,
for best editing.
I said, why would we stop doing that? The students love it. Well, when you give someone a trophy, you're telling everybody else they're a loser. and I don't think that's good. And I said, "What are you, crazy?
So
stop is the real world. That's happening."
And here's the deal, and I don't mean this in any disrespect to any of my classmates, but I spent on my stupid little thing I did. I spent hours and hours on my stuff, and then there was other classmates I had that spent maybe a day doing or 2 days doing what they do
to get a trophy,
right? And so if you're, and I knew they didn't work as hard as they did on my. When they saw my project, they even came up to me and said, "Wow, that was a lot of work. You did all that. That must have taken you a long time." And I'm like, "Yeah, it did." And that's why I got first place. Right. And they openly admitted it, that they didn't work a lot on their project.
Right.
So,
no, that's exactly the problem.
Hard work pays off.
When you have little league kids all getting a trophy for just showing up.
That's right.
Soccer team all gets trophies for showing up.
And we've all been there where we know that person didn't put as much work into something, and you put more work into it. So when you win the award, you even know that they know that they didn't do it.
When you eliminate competition and everybody's equal, you set a level of entitlement. Kids coming right out of college now want the keys to the car. They want management positions. Right. They want to be in charge of things. They're right out of school with no experience.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
But that's because they've been brought through the system that way.
Right. But it's like a sport.
Brought through the system that way.
Right. But it's like a sport. Like, for instance, if you play a sport and you lose and the winning team is celebrating, you say to your team or you say to yourself, next year we're fucking gonna win.
Those guys. Yeah.
And that causes you to work harder towards a goal because you want to get you want to celebrate next year.
Not anymore. Now when the other team wins,
so
losing team goes on Twitter,
right,
and complains that they're,
right. So the whole understanding that everybody wins an award means that no one's going to try hard to make it better to achieve.
And look where we are as a society. So before we go, let's just do this because...
Well, we do have to talk about one show that we're trying to get Keith to watch, which will go back to what we're talking about because it goes against the whole boundaries of what we're talking about, and it's still a very successful show at the moment. It's a little cheesy.
What? Go ahead. Talk about it.
No, and I think Jason and we texted you on this before. If you watch Cobra Kai, which is pretty much the... it's the Karate Kid after many years after, okay, with Joey Lawrence and Ralph Macchio and or Danny LaRusso and what's that?
Sorry, Johnny. No, you said
Johnny Lawrence. Yeah, I've been doing this all night. Saturday, Joey, and basically it's I don't want to spoil it for you, Keith, in case you want to watch it, but it's basically a role reverse. You think that you think that Johnny would have been successful, but he actually isn't, and Danny LaRusso is actually more successful, and it's just this kind of, it's funny. You got to watch it. But anyway, his character goes against pretty much all of that. When someone comes into his dojo with some kind of issue, whether they're overweight, whether they have some kind of deformity or something, he calls them out on it. And and the whole show's like that. And it makes him out to be this sort of bigot character. But then towards the end of the season, you start to really love him because he sort of changes. So he sort of has this sort of like rude, obnoxious character. But at the end, you start to actually feel, you start to sympathize with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm probably going to give that one a pass because I didn't like Karate Kid. I was like, who's right?
I know, but you just watch the first season or watch the first episode of
it. The thing about Cobra Kai is that you didn't even have to watch the Karate Kid movies to really enjoy it. Yeah. It's on a different level.
You should watch it. You should give it a chance. It really is.
It's basically a testament to what we've been saying for the last talking about for the last half hour about entitlement culture. And it's a refutation of entitlement culture that I think is refreshing in these times.
Okay.
It's a comment.
And it is, Keith. It absolutely goes against everything that we were talking about for the last half hour.
Is this Netflix season the old YouTube?
Yeah. Right, because what happened was that YouTube couldn't fund to keep it going, so Netflix bought it so that they could continue on with the third and fourth season.
Already made before. These are the actual YouTube shows. They're starting.
The first season is, and I think the second season is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But
YouTube Red, I believe it was called at the time.
It was called YouTube Red, and I think YouTube was trying to do basically a subscription service. But I don't even know if they're still doing it. I think they are, but it's not catching on. It's not catching on.
But I think, each episode is like 20 minutes. It was 23 minutes or something like that, and it's really condensed.
Okay.
It's really good. Yeah. So
that works too, because shorter's better.
Shorter's better.
Yeah. And again, it goes against the whole idea. Even if you didn't like the Karate Kid, the whole premise of the Karate Kid was that, if you were a wimp or if you weren't a person that was going to step up, you were considered, you stepped up to become this, karate hero or whatever. Yeah.
And the Cobra Kai is also about reinvention. So it takes these kids that, might be nerds or overweight and says, you can reinvent yourself. You can flip the script.
Well, and put the work in.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people don't want to do anymore.
And I think that's why, and I think that's in the show is extremely popular right now. And I think that, like for instance, there's one character that comes into the dojo, into the Cobra Kai dojo. She's overweight and she's got a short haircut, and he's telling her, like, what are you doing here? You're a girl, you can't fight, and you're overweight. And so, I mean, right off the bat, right there, he's insulting her. And so, I mean, and then of course she steps up. And then there's another character that comes in that's a really kind of introverted, nerdy type character with a scar on his lip. And he walks into the dojo and he goes, "What's up with your lip? Like, what's going on here? That thing looks ugly." And the kid's like, "Well, don't make fun of it." And he's like, I am going to make fun of it. It's in my face. Like, do something about it. And so the kid walks out and he leaves, and then he comes back, and it's a great scene. You got to see it. So, I mean, it's kind of funny because they're not playing by these rules. The show isn't playing by these rules, but yet it's a hugely popular show.
Keep in mind those were made years ago, because they're
the Karate Kid was, but this one was made.
No, these shows were on YouTube like 2-3 years ago.
Well, like roughly 2 years ago. The last season 2, I think, was last year.
Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah,
well, before all this shit really hit the fan.
But I don't think the show is going to stray course, because the direction they're going in, even if they were to change it into that model, it wouldn't work. The show's already implemented itself that these characters are the way they are because they were insulted. They were put down.
Right.
They were told they were no good.
They were bullied.
They were bullied. And they were bullied by the sensei.
Just like real life. Just like real life.
Right.
Plus,
so they could have done, these kids could have done two things. They could have actually just walked away, which there are characters in the show that do walk away. And then there's characters in the show that say, no, screw this. I'm not going to take this anymore.
Take some personal responsibility. Go figure.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
So give it a chance. I mean, I know you didn't like the Karate Kid, but
the show went broke once already, and they know go woke, go broke. They're not going to go broke twice. No, I'll give it a shot. For me, when I was younger, the Karate Kid was just Rocky with kids, and it bothered me. So it's all this already. And I like Stallone better than Ralph Macchio.
The first Karate Kid wasn't that bad. The second and third.
The first one was like, it was okay. I was just like, okay, it's the same story as Rocky with kids, but in karate instead of boxing. But anyway, before we sign off, we should say something about this.
Oh, yeah. Well.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Let me do that again.
Christ.
I can't believe it. Can you believe it's going on 20 years next year?
Next year.
20 years.
I was just going to say my math is so bad. What year is it? What, 20?
Do you guys hear that audio coming through?
I hear like a phone thing or something.
Jesus Christ.
It says 19 years ago. I can't believe it.
Yeah. I remember I was on my way to work at the college where Jude was a student at the time. Were you still a student? Or were you already gone?
I was a year. Was I a year? I think I was a year later.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't remember. When was Columbine?
99.
Okay, so I was a student then, because Columbine happened the year I was there.
Okay. So this was 01, of course.
Yeah. Okay. So I already left. I think I already left.
I remember I was on my way into work and I was listening to Dee Snider's radio show, and they were like, "Oh my God, a plane hit the Trade Center." And in my brain, I thought like a Piper Cub or something, And I got in and I turned the TV on in the student lounge, and I'm watching the building burning, and I'm like, "Oh shit, that's bad." And as I'm watching it live, the second building got hit, and I wasn't sure it was live. I was like, "Are they showing a replay, or was that another one?" And when you realize both buildings were hit, it was bad. It was scary.
What's really funny is that
memories. We don't need to go down that road, but
yeah, I mean, the day it happened for me, my brother and I were the only ones at home. I think my mother was. I don't know where she was. She wasn't home, and I had a digital answering machine at that time. This is before cell phones.
Yeah, with like a cassette in it.
No, it wasn't even a cassette. It was actually a digital answering machine. It was like one of the last answering machines.
I had one too.
Yeah, and my friend Joe called me up because I woke up. I think I woke up around maybe a 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10, and I didn't have television on. And I think my brother and I were just walking around the house. We were in the kitchen.
I wasn't living home at the time. I had an apartment.
Oh, that's right. You were right. You were at your apartment. And I think I was in the kitchen making breakfast. And at that time, you got to think about it. You didn't just log into the internet. You had to do dial-up. So that was a chore. So it wasn't like every morning you just went online and you were there. So I pretty much went throughout my whole morning with all this chaos happening, not realizing it was going on because I was just kind of doing what I do every morning, getting up, making cereal, doing what I got to do. And then I got a message on my answer machine from my friend Joe. He called up and he left a message. I let it go to voicemail or go to the answer machine. And he goes, "Oh my God, we're under attack. We're under attack. Or the United States is under attack." And then he hung up and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And it kind of reminded me of something out of Red Dawn. You remember the movie Red Dawn?
Yeah.
I had no clue. I was like, what the fuck's he talking about? And that's when I turned the television on. And at that point, the two towers were already gone. So I wasn't there to witness it all in real time. But by the time I got to the television, I saw both towers completely gone.
Yeah.
Which to me, it was sort of like how does that happen? How does two buildings just disappear in the skyline of New York City? And then my brother came over, and I think we spent the whole day in front of the television.
Yeah.
And it was pretty disturbing. And funny, I think that December, you and I, Keith, went to go see a friend's play, which was close to Ground Zero, and we walked around Ground Zero.
Right, we went down there. Yeah.
And it was pretty disturbing. And I think the most disturbing thing was the smell. It smelled like a fruity, rotten. It was disgusting. And
now look at all the people who have lung cancer from being down there.
Yeah. So you and I went down there and we're walking around the perimeter of Ground Zero. And I remember Lisa had her play around there. She did some kind of play. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we live in Connecticut, which is, about 60 miles from Ground Zero. So we weren't
90.
What's that?
I'm about 90. You're closer.
Yeah. I mean, we weren't there to see it, but we were relatively close. I mean,
she was. I remember I could get hold of her, Lisa. She worked in the tower, and she told me she was late for work, and she
worked in the tower.
Yeah, I
didn't know that.
Her and her friend Elise both worked there. Elise was up, I forgot how high, but Lisa went to the little store in the second building to get gum because she had bad coffee breath, and the whole building shook. And she said she didn't even think about it. She walked out. She just ran out the door and called the car service. And before she even realized what was going on, she just knew that was bad. And she's smart. She's a smart girl. She always has been. And she got a car service and got out of Manhattan before they locked everything down. And I remember she called me. I was trying to get hold of her. She finally called me back. And as I was talking to her, she was watching out the back window of the car and saw the second building fall.
Wow.
She was like just screaming and crying and freaking out. But her and her friend Elise both got out of there. So
That's crazy. You know, it's really kind of funny too, because I remember when we were watching it on television, it almost seemed like it was a film, like it wasn't real.
Yeah. Well, you know, we watch all this genre stuff where supervillains blow up buildings and blow up the world, and you know, it really happened. It looked like something.
You know what's really funny, and I hate to say this, and I don't.
Looks like something Lex Luthor would do.
It was very reminiscent of Die Hard for some reason.
Yeah. Yep.
Because it seemed so fake. I was like, this can't be real. This must be something on a movie set, because this can't be real.
Look at the photo. It looks like Nakatomi Plaza blown up there. The top part of it. Yeah. So.
And they shouldn't go back and erase the Twin Towers from those old movies, like like Woody Allen. Yeah, they shouldn't do that. I know there's been temptations for some directors to go back and remove the Twin Towers from their movies, but I think that's a mistake.
So do I. I think it makes you remember that much more.
Right.
When you see them there.
I was actually
see them.
I was actually at the top of one of the Twin Towers when I was a kid.
Of course.
My father used to work for this company that's based out of Germany, and one of my dad's jobs was, I mean, even though this wasn't his main job, but when people came over from Germany for how long they were there to work where my father worked, there's Pete.
Oh, I see. I joined at a really upbeat time.
Yeah, welcome to the end.
So what I was saying was, my dad used to have to entertain some of the people that came over from Germany for his company, and we went up to one of the Twin Towers. We were up there, so I got to be up on one of them. I don't know which building it was, and I got to see the New York City skyline from the top of one of the buildings.
Yep.
How you doing, Pete? You missed a lot of stuff.
I know. I'm tired. You see, in the fall, I help out at a horror movie museum in Bristol, formerly in Bristol, Connecticut. Now it is in Plainville, Connecticut, called the Witch's Dungeon, and there are lots of boxes and monsters and all sorts of things that needed to be moved. And they have life-size wax figures of like Bela Lugosi as Dracula, Boris Karloff as the Frankenstein's monster. They have also movie props of like the only surviving E.T., the spinning head from The Exorcist, one of the fertility idols from Raiders of the Lost Ark, and they've got the Metaluna mutant from This Island Earth, or you may know it as Mystery Science Theater the movie. So.
Nice.
So there it is. You can go to preservehollywood.org.
These guys had a setup at the Comic-Con we went to, right?
Yes.
They do Comic-Cons. They do all the wax figures.
Yep.
I finally got down there for the first time here, and I had a ball.
Yeah.
It's great.
Click on the photo gallery, and you can take a look at some of these things. But anyway, I was helping them move. Two down. There you go.
Let me blow it up a little bit. Yeah, it's got some cool stuff. Like Rico Browning signed these creature things, and the Ankh from my favorite movie. Not the Ankh. What do they call that thing? The idol.
Yeah, the fertility idol.
I'll be right back, guys.
Raiders.
Yeah, scroll down, click on the photo gallery. You can see some of the pictures. Anyway, I was helping them move. That's where I was. I'm tired. Lots of boxes, lots of stairs.
I'm still waiting for my royalty check for this likeness of me here, Pete. When am I getting that? Yeah, the creature's beautiful. I love this sculpture.
The creature from the Black Lagoon statue was actually cast off the molds that made the original costume.
Yeah. So they do a really nice job here, and
well, now it's permanent. It's
awesome.
now located. It's located at 103 East Main Street in Plainville, Connecticut. It is a permanent setup. This year is going to be held together by string and bubble gum and duct tape, but it's going to be year round.
He's got to do a GoFundMe or something, or a Indiegogo.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's great stuff, and you've told me there's more in the basement that he hasn't even put out.
Yeah. There's makeup appliances from Planet of the Apes. He's got an animator's color study from Mars Attacks. He's got some heads from Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Are these real screen accurate movie props? Are they real props?
Yeah, you missed the
Most
part
of
where
them are real. Yeah, most of them are real.
Yeah, it's great. I've been down there finally. The problem was in the past they were only open on weekends in October. That becomes problematic quickly when you think, oh, I got 4 weeks, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I'm completely out of time. So I keep missing, but now it's going to be open permanently. So
Pete, you had to move these cool things around.
Yeah, I mean it was all boxed up, but yeah, we're moving. Click on the photo gallery. You can check out some of it. Yeah, basically we're moving stuff from the Bristol Historical Society.
Where's
There should be a second window.
Really?
Yeah, a second window should open up.
No, it's not.
Why don't you just type it into images? Can you do Google Images?
But
Probably.
We were moving all this stuff and moving the stuff in boxes from one location to the other, and it's got 2 stories now. And the second story is storage. So, Lon Chaney Jr. wax busts, wax castings of Vincent Price.
Cool.
So that's where I was all day.
Nice.
So
Well,
good stuff.
Which is it's on the TripAdvisor. Is the same one?
You missed. We went through everything. We went through Ray Fisher. We went through Daisy Ridley and John Boyega. We went through Star Trek Days failures.
Oh God.
We went through the new Oscar criteria and stuff like that. John Amenta was with us.
Yeah, all sorts of fun.
Here, let me. I got the Witch's Dungeon up here.
All right, share your screen.
Oh shit! How do I do that?
Then we should.
Guys, I got to jump off. It's been great. So,
all right, brother.
You coming on tomorrow for the TV thing?
What time is it?
I don't remember. I think 5 p.m. or.
Oh, I might have plans tomorrow. I think it's my friend's birthday, and I'm going to take her out. So I have to figure out what time we're going out.
That's cool.
So, all right. Thanks, guys.
Always a
All right,
pleasure,
brother.
friend Jason. Be well.
Take care.
Take it easy.
Brother, I'll see you in a bit. Okay. So is this the owner?
That's Cortland Hall. His great uncle was the Werewolf of London from 1935. I want to say.
Is this all the same stuff?
Yeah, this is all. I think this is from his original place in Bristol. But yeah, he's got life-size wax figures of the Fly.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
So, yeah, this is from his original. Yeah, one year he had the Batmobile there. Oh, a Batmobile. I think I'm not sure if it was the filming Batmobile, but there's a guy that has replicas of different cars. Batmobile being one of them.
How do you get multiple replicas of the Batmobile? This is like a one of a kind, right?
Somebody built them.
Oh, there's a guy who builds them.
Jesus.
That's all he does is he builds cars, and people love Batmobile.
The Ecto ones are out there.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Roy
exactly.
built an Ecto one.
Oh, is that it? Is that all I have? Yeah, that's all I have.
Yeah, it's cool. If you get a chance to get down there, it's worth it, Jude.
Oh wait, there's more. Or is this from something else?
That's it.
Yep.
That's
one of the tour guides.
What is that?
That's one of the tour guides.
She's a tour guide.
Ah,
There he is.
that's awesome. I
Yeah,
want that. I want that in my like right next to my front door when you walk in. I
It's
just want
huge.
that.
It's actually cast out of the same molds that made the original costume.
Yeah, it's like what 7'6" or something like that.
Something like that. The thing is enormous.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And here's the prosthetics.
Yep.
Who's this?
That's
Are those really John Chambers casts?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Dustin Hoffman from Little Big Man, a movie I have yet to see. I've been talking about that that head for years, and I have yet to see the movie. But basically, he plays a 101-year-old man recounting to a journalist his adventures as a young man in the Old West, and that got Dick Smith the Oscar, I believe, for best makeup.
These are just busts, right? These aren't the real things.
No, that's actual makeup appliance.
They're real.
Yeah, they're real.
What's this from?
That is from Milton Berle, I think. Did a skit on his live show in the 50s, and one of these things where he's he drinks the potion, he goes this, he falls down underneath a desk and comes back up with that thing, and the crowd goes wild.
Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
Yep.
We all know what this is from.
That's really from The Exorcist.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's all authentic.
The only surviving ET.
Yeah.
That's the bicycle shot.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot he had ET. There's Mars Attacks. Yeah, this place is great, Jude. And what's he charge? Like $5, $10?
This year it's $8.
Oh, gee, $8. That's out of my
$8 for adults, $4 for kids.
Wow.
So this is the creature from the Black Lagoon is foot cast.
Yeah, that is a garbage pull. That was pulled out of the molds, but it was either too thick, too thin, too many air bubbles, deformed, whatever. So they were going to throw it away, and it ended up in his collection.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Cool. I think that's
Eddie loved it. We had a great time there. So I will be back.
Yeah, you can see you saw the dates at preservehollywood.org. It's going to be it's open weekends in October for the 54th consecutive year. But you can see all the dates, that it'll be open basically every weekend in October, and then it's going year round after a brief shutdown, I believe, to kind of get things up and running.
It's awesome.
I'm actually really excited for Halloween this year. I have no clue why. I'm just really pumped.
I'm pumped for it every year.
I am too, but for some odd reason, I know I always feel like I don't want to. We're not into October yet, but I'm ready.
Starting on September 15th, I start my horror movies. I only watch scary movies between mid-September and like Halloween, like November 1st, and then I don't like to watch scary movies unless it's Halloween time. It doesn't feel right unless it's fall,
Yeah. Well, we're getting there.
Good time for a scary movie.
We're getting there right now. I mean, I stepped outside today, and I definitely feel that this summer is pretty much over.
Nah, we're gonna
at least up here in New England.
Nah, we're gonna get that what they call the Indian summer. Of course, that's not politically correct, but
the Native American summer,
the indigenous people summer.
So I don't know if our viewers know or listeners know that every year, and I don't know if we're doing it this year, we haven't talked about it, but we do get a cast of characters together to play Kiss or actually dress up as Kiss.
Yeah, that's right.
And we haven't really talked about it.
Well, for me, I thought it was going to be a missed year because Halloween's on a Saturday this year. So my plan was to take my daughter trick-or-treating.
So maybe we can do a show.
Well, but we should. Here's the thing is, unless California suddenly turns around, there ain't going to be no trick-or-treating for her this year.
Right. I mean, you would think that kids going to strange people's doors multiple times is kind of a...
Well, my daughter, being the schemer that she is, said, Dad, it's going to be great this year. Nobody's going to want to deal with coronavirus, so they're just going to put candy on the porch and say, take whatever you want.
That's funny. That's funny.
So
I'm actually pretty bummed out because every year, I didn't do it last year, but there we are. I want the viewers and listeners to actually pick out who they think who's who. Yeah. I think it's a dead giveaway comparing the two pictures with our live video, or comparing the picture with our live video, but still.
With us unmasked.
Yeah. Who do you think it is?
Well, I think the funny part is nobody would ever know that one of these is a woman. See, we hit our diversity. We met we checked our boxes. We're diverse.
I like my hair.
Not only that, she's a Latina woman. See that you win an Oscar.
Wow, look at that! You got all the boxes checked.
Yeah. So no, it's so much fun to do this. I love doing it. I mean, forget that if we whether we win or anything. It's just like it's amazing how
we have one
tension we get.
Jesus, I think you got more pictures than I have. I don't remember any of these.
I have hundreds.
That's awesome.
The best is when we go to the diner after we're done doing the contests. It's great. People would just start freaking out. We'd walk into these diners because diner was the only thing that was open at like 1 o'clock in the morning. We walk in with all the gear on,
and we're all beat up and disheveled.
We're ordering food, and people are walking in like, "Holy shit, Kiss is here eating, dinner at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning."
Yeah, here we go. Here's the progression.
And there's our Gene Simmons.
Yeah, there she is. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a
great time. We have a ball. I love.
In fact, we were going to dress up as Kiss this year and go see Kiss, but that whole thing got canceled.
Well, we did do that.
Yeah, you did that, but I didn't get a chance to do it yet.
Let me see. I think I have. Oh, remember these, Jude? At Toad's place.
Oh God.
In that weird.
Yeah, we were trying to do that mirror shot.
The bar was lit up. Yeah, that was crazy. How do I get out of this?
I'll tell you the truth. If you want to be a rock star for a night, dress up as a member from Kiss. You will be treated like a rock star. People will think you're actually a rock star and part of Kiss. I mean, we couldn't even turn around without people wanting to take a picture with us.
You should have been to Mohegan Sun. It was insane.
Yeah. Like it would be like, oh, can I get a picture with you? Click, turn around. Okay, can I get a picture? You couldn't even take 2 steps away without somebody trying to get a picture.
There were like 30 people deep at the Mohegan Sun. Like it was insane. Like we couldn't move.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
By the time you actually got done getting someone up next to you and getting a picture, literally someone would be standing in line to come pop back in. And
Yeah, it was fun. It's a blast. I love the shot of us getting ready. That's it's funny.
So this year might be a little bit different, but maybe we might surprise our audience with doing a podcast in makeup. I don't know. That's an option.
We should do that. Why not?
And we don't have to just be exclusive to just me and Keith. We can all do some Kiss, right, Pete? Maybe you could do a little star.
I'll have to.
We can have multiple jeans, multiple,
sure,
aces, and multiple.
I'll have to shave, or else I'm pulling a Cesar Romero.
Yeah, I mean that's Jackie as Gene Simmons here. we swapped Lisa for Jackie. So yeah.
So before we leave, I do want to talk about that John Lennon film because I did bring it up because I heard about it and I looked it up. So John Lennon it's Jackie. John Lennon did a film called The Self-Portrait in 1969, made by Yoko Ono, and the film consisted of a single 42-minute shot of his semi-erect penis. So I did, and I thought that was a myth. I did call it. That's actually a short film.
Wow, I missed a lot, didn't I?
Yeah.
Because I brought it up earlier, because I was talking about being what art is, and I was like, didn't John Lennon film his fucking dick for 42 minutes?
Well,
42 minutes, one shot? Did he do it on film or on video?
On film.
Yeah, it was.
So, if you're curious, if our audience is curious, go ahead. Go at it.
All right.
But anyway.
All right. Real quick before we go, let's just check the DC Fandom thing. Who's in for this tomorrow?
I have to catch up. I've been so busy with work, so
what do we got here? Anything good?
Yeah, that's the big question. Anything good what is now? I thought they already did the Fandom a couple of weeks.
It's broken into 2 days. This is my confusion last time because I was a bunch of stuff I wanted to watch, and it said September 12th.
My cat is totally freaking out. What's up, buddy? You've been crying over.
Looks like some of this is repeat. Yeah, well, that's the Hall of Heroes is a repeat from last time. All supervillains panel, Batman, the Joker War.
So what is
yeah, I want to see this. 3 Jokers.
What is this? Is this
This is more comics tomorrow. The other day was movies and TV. This is more comics.
I haven't bought a comic since
Death in the Family. Oh, there's some good stuff in here.
I haven't bought a comic since before COVID, so unfortunately, I haven't been to a comic book store.
Well, it doesn't look like there's as much good stuff. There's stuff with artists tomorrow. Batman and Me, the Bob Kane story. Yeah, Bob Kane's a fraud.
Really?
Oh yeah, no. Bob
Really?
Kane very little.
I feel that's kind of a slap. Like, come on, really?
No, you got to see Batman and Bill.
Bob Kane, though.
A guy named Bill Finger came up with the majority of what is considered Batman.
Bill Finger.
So are you saying that this is a Steve Ditko and Stan Lee thing?
Worse.
No, Bob Kane was taking credit for Batman for years. It's only within the past 10 years that Bill Finger has just gotten any sort of credit for doing anything with Batman, and he came up with everything.
Well, it's the same thing with Steve Ditko and Stan Lee. Steve Ditko came up with majority of Spider-Man, but
we're talking like everything, like the Batmobile, like everything. Bob came up with he came up with the character's name, and his drawing was here it is right here. I'll show it to you. Was a guy with blonde hair and a red suit
and a domino mask. Yeah, it was. This Leonardo da Vinci cape.
Yeah,
yeah. That's what Bob Kane wanted Batman to be. It looks like he came up with the utility belt look and the underpants, but yeah, this is Flash Gordon in a cape.
Right.
Flash Gordon in a cape.
If you have Hulu, Jude, watch this. It's amazing.
I don't have Hulu, unfortunately, but
it's on Blu-ray now. Is it on Blu-ray? Oh, I got to get this. It's sad because Bill Finger died penniless, homeless, and Bob Kane was cashing all kinds of checks. And it's awful. It's just a shame.
And thus goes the story.
Yeah,
indeed.
So, yeah. I mean, I think I set up our stream for like 5 p.m. tomorrow.
Okay.
If there's not much to talk about, we can rehash this.
We had a good crew today. We had John on earlier, and then we had my brother, and he left, and then Pete, you joined us. So it was, I know you're a little bit late, but it was good.
I was bummed that we didn't have you around for the Ray Fisher thing, Pete.
Yeah.
God, Ray Fisher.
We'll do it again. We'll do it tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. He made brain hurt.
It's DC Day tomorrow, so we'll bring the Ray Fisher back up.
Okay, yeah, because he might have a whole lot of nothing more to say tomorrow too.
Oh, you never know. Today he demanded to change the Flash script.
What?
Oh yeah, here before we go. I have 6 articles already about this story. He's unbelievable, this guy, who's done nothing.
Yeah, he did. I think he did a student short. He did Justice League. He did Batman versus Superman, where he was basically a head.
Right.
Justice League. He did an episode of some cop show.
Yep, and that's it.
And then he's in the Snyder Cut. And that's literally all he's done.
Yeah, we pulled his IMDb. So clearly he is an entitled brat. And I think people are sick of him. And if he doesn't watch it, his career is going to be over before it started.
Well, I'm sure it's over.
So they're trying to get him signed for the Flash film. And as you can see, he wants changes made to the script already.
You'll never work in this town again.
And that was September 9th, 2 days ago.
Just shut up, Ray. Take the paycheck and run.
Does not get it. He clearly does not get it. So, we'll I want to hear your commentary on it, Pete. So we'll have to do it again tomorrow.
Okay, I'll show up tomorrow and just shake my head even more at Ray Fisher.
I'll keep all my material.
Okay.
We can go through the Daisy Ridley stuff too again.
By
By
the
the
way, to her defense, to that video,
I have not heard you say anything about the Moss Eisley background.
I love it.
Oh yeah, hey, look at that.
Go back.
Scum and villainy. You must be cautious.
Can you go back to? I think we can go to. How do we do it?
We have to transition. So if I can do something like this, right?
Oh no, we got to go the other way.
Whoops, like that. And then if I stop the share, you'll see the whole thing briefly.
Okay. Wow, it's beautiful from what I saw.
It's cool.
The intro is actually a lot better. I think it shows in the intro, doesn't it, with the countdown?
No, the countdown's just our logo with the Paul Harriet trailer park after dark music.
Yeah. In fact, anybody who's listening, our music all comes from the Presidential Targets. Look them up on YouTube, Presidential Targets. I think you'll find them on Sleepless Nights channel.
No, I don't know where they are. I got to find them.
Great band. The videos are good too. So
yeah, we got to talk about Paul's band at some point. So
I know there was actually an up and coming documentary which didn't get finished yet, but maybe we can at some point. Yeah.
You want all the material? You can finish.
Sure. Let me go at it.
All right.
All right, we got that on record.
I got my guitar right here. I'll actually do some. I'll do some scores for it.
There you go. All right, my bladder's gonna burst. Let's end this stream.
All right, guys. It was a good.